Hello, fellow baggers, and welcome back to Bluebaggers Edge. And we are back with one of the few live streams that we've been doing across the season to date. Geez, it seems like it's been a long season, and for good reason, as we know in recent times. With the past few days, it's been a bit going on, hasn't there? Been a bit going on. So figured might as well do a bit of a live stream for all of you tuning in out there. Bit of opportunity to jump on. Vent your spleen, give us your thoughts, give us your opinions, whatever it may be. You're not right, you're not wrong, whatever it may be. Everyone's got an opinion, so feel free to air it. We will grab the link and whack it down in the chat here on YouTube if you are tuning in live. We do have 10 people joining us at the moment, which thank you for joining us on this Thursday evening post the Lions and Cats game, which was a bit of a nothing game in the end, but we are here to chat all things Baggers, of course. So let us copy and paste that in. So if you want to jump on for a chat, feel free. All you need to do is click on the link and you will be directed through to the green room, virtual green room. It's not the coziest, must admit. You'll literally just be sitting watching me in the back room there, but we will patch you through. And as I said, you can chat about anything. Of course, the big news with the departure of Michael Voss. We've all come across it, and with the news thereafter, which is kind of a bit of a developing story by the sounds of it, with Nick Austin, head of recruitment, being let go by the sounds of it. There was speculation that perhaps it was a mutual parting of ways, similar to Voss, but looks as though there's a little bit of a dispute there with regards to the way he was let go. Murky waters, there's been stuff spoken about with regards to, I think it was on Footy Classified or the Agenda Centres, one of those two, that potentially Carlton is looking at poaching Hawthorn's recruiting manager, Mackenzie, I think his surname is, which kind of lines up with maybe the premature departure of Austin, because it doesn't really make sense. I mean, we don't have a pick in the mid-season rookie draft, so it's not as if Austin is going to be really doing any work in season. It'll just be preparation for, obviously, the draft coming up end of year. So I don't know what the circumstances are around that. I'd love to know as to why he was let go, if that is the case. And that's kind of the rumor. But any of you out there have an opinion, have any insight, of course, jump on, let us know. Of course, we have a few people joining us, one of which is Atush, classic man from Only Carlton, which, mate, you can jump on as well for a bit of a yarn, as I know you like to. And we have the great man as well, Jonesy, joining us, who I'd love to reconvene with at training, mate. And if you've been down to training over the past, I think today, they did a training session, didn't they, or yesterday, with Josh Fraser at the helm. So if you were there, mate, let us know what the vibe was like. It's just the vibe of it, as it changed. Very good, Jonas. Very good, mate. You and tugging, I don't know what it is, but there's a fascination there, which is very interesting, to say the least. You're a funny man, Jonas. Of course, one of our supporters over on Supercoach Edge, as well as Bluebaggers Edge. Dorian, evening, mate. Hope you're well. Likewise, Jay. Good to see you again, mate. What a week in football indeed. Only Carlton would love to call in, but Voss has silenced me by making my NBN box die. Oh, no. Really? Well, how are you tuning in, if that's the case? Are you on your mobile? You can still jump on. Surely there's a way. Atush. Yes, that is the great man. Voss definitely got his marching orders, but the club let him leave with dignity. Indeed. Yes, it is Wayno, of course, Jonesy. The fact it was immediate means it wasn't gentle. Yes, interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. Of course, we will whack that link in there for anyone joining us late. It is ticking over now. We've got 17 people joining us, so thank you as always. But first up, we have a familiar face, or at least for me anyway, and a familiar voice, especially as well. She's down the other end of the house. She's been on once before, and no, it's not the mistress. It is, of course, my wife, the better half, and a big Carlton supporter like myself. So let's patch her in. The first guest to kick things off, gracing us with her presence. How are you?
Hello. You caught me. I was literally about to go to sleep, hence why I'm in bed. And then, you caught me and said, "Do you want to jump on?" And I thought, well, probably a good time too, when the emotions aren't high, post loss, or, it's just a nice neutral time.
Yeah, straight after the departure of the head honcho, which a few people did live streams, and I figured that there's probably no use doing it straight after the fact because it's just you're contending with everyone else. But everyone's, as you said, emotions there are quite high, and once things have now settled and we've kind of understood what's happened, or at least what's been reported in the media, we can kind of chat about it a bit more. But the departure of Voss in season, something that I've spoken about in previous episodes, and I think the way that they've gone about it is kind of what I spoke about in the post-game analysis of the St Kilda match. And I said they need to come to a mutual agreement, even if it's not in the background, at least make an understanding there that Voss, to protect his legacy, his image, make it look as though he has put his hand up and said, I want to depart, even though in the background maybe they've tapped on the shoulder and, in all likelihood said, see you later. I think it protects him as well as the club as well. It doesn't look as though that we've necessarily sacked another coach, even though we probably did. But all of that, what are your thoughts around the departure of Voss, the no longer the boss?
I felt really bad for him, actually. It was really weird on what day was it Tuesday? I can't even keep track of when it
Yeah,
happened.
Tuesday.
It was Tuesday.
Tuesday morning at like
Yeah.
7:30 or something, which
Yeah. So shall we share how how the news was broken to you
yeah, well,
about
you broke
Voss's
the news. You were
departure?
you were Damien Barrett. You're the newsbreaker.
I was the newsbreaker, but weirdly, it was just so we were obviously asleep because it was 7:30 in the morning, and I'm on maternity leave. So the baby's asleep, I'm asleep, and you don't get up early at the best of times. So um, we were both asleep, and then randomly our cat Paddy, named after the great man, um, was woke us up, and then you woke up and sorted him out. And then for some reason, I don't usually check my phone if I wake up, but I for some reason had this inkling to check my phone. Check my phone, and then I saw the first thing that popped up was that Voss had resigned, or whatever Mitch Cleary's words were. Um, and I ran downstairs to you and I said, have you checked your phone? And you thought it was a family emergency. And I said, no, 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 it's all good. Voss has just handed in his resignation. And your exact words were, thank the Lord.
Yeah, thank the Lord. I was surprised though,
Uh,
like when it happened, I didn't actually think that the
yeah.
club was going to do it in season. And given, I guess, how strong, I don't know, headed you'd call Voss, I don't think I take him as someone that would willingly put his hand up and be like, you know what, I'll just end it right here and now.
But
Um,
you know what? He was probably sick of it all as well.
yeah,
Having to front up to a press conference and answer the same questions. Is it how many press conferences do they do a week? Is it 2 a week? Post-match
yeah,
press conference and a pre-game press
midweek.
conference? So, twice a week having to answer the same questions, that couldn't have been good for his mental health, as well. Plus, our supporters aren't the easiest supporters at the best of times, let alone when things are going, we're very passionate, but some fans do take it too far. And, you can just imagine what kind of hate and, words were being spoken to him. Even last year with Sack Voss being graffitied on roads and all that, that's going to have some sort of impact. So I get it, but it probably was in his best interest that for him as well. Like he couldn't keep fronting up like how he was. I think it was time. I'm surprised that that it didn't happen later in the season or like before the bye or. And the other thing I was really surprised about was how slow the club were to actually confirm it. So
No,
as
no.
you mentioned, like Mitch Cleary, it came out at 7:30 in the morning, and I don't think the club put anything out until about midday, which we were discussing it, which was an odd decision to even not just come out and say this has happened. Um, yeah, like more information to come. I think it
Mm,
was a really, really strange way that they went about it, which to me says that it probably wasn't meant to come out the way that it did come out, especially considering he resigned or allegedly resigned before the game, the Brisbane game.
mm.
Why it would randomly come out on a Tuesday morning, someone's leaked that. Um, so yeah, it's interesting. It's I was a bit disappointed if I'm honest with how long it took. Like I was waiting for that email to hit the inbox for the, for members to explain the situation. Like we kind of had discussed, wouldn't they have something sort of half in the can ready to go? But you just don't know. It could have all been prepared. It could have been stuck in approvals. There could have been a reason why they were holding off on officially communicating it. But yeah, my gosh, it was a long morning.
I know it was. Even though I was when you told me, I was only half awake, so I didn't really have the brain power to fully understand what was being said, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah." Like, normally, if it was during the day, I would have been celebrating. I would have been I mean, it's hard because it is obviously a bloke losing his job, but end of the day, it is a results-driven, industry, and that's just the nature of it, and he's obviously been through that once before, as the Brisbane coach when he was let go in that position as well. But yeah, it was for me. I think it's just relief, and I'm sure for the players as well. Like Cripper was, and that was like to your point as well about the fact that the club didn't put anything out officially, and they allowed the likes of Cripper to be mobbed in the car park as he was walking into the club. I think was pretty piss poor. And it's the club's always referred to as PRFC because we're so you know, delicate around our image and everything else. And you'd think that, yeah, they would have prepared something, at least a bit of bones of what they could be releasing in a press release or whatever. And even if it was sprung on them last second, which it wouldn't have been, I've worked in footy, both at Carlton and Collingwood. And I can tell you for a fact that they have something at least in the can more often than not, unless of course it's a player stuffing up and doing something untoward, like a Jordan De Go breaking his hand and blaming his dog for biting his hand, all that sort of stuff, which you don't prepare for. For a coach, given the position that the club is in, you'd know that he's going to be more than likely leaving at some stage, even if it's a bit too early at this stage, and they were maybe expecting it to be happening at the bye. They'd have something prepared for that, surely. So I just think it was very, very poor because Cripper had to be one out, and obviously as the captain, he has to do that anyway. But I just think it was pretty poor because he said that he'd found out already, like Voss had called him and whatever. But yeah, I just really felt for him more than anything because it was every man and their dog just mobbing him, and he couldn't really have any distance around him. He was just trying to walk inside, and at one point he was like, "Guys, like he virtually fed them a line and was like, we'll hear more in time. I can't
We'll
say too
talk
much more."
later. Yeah.
And they kept
Apparently,
throwing questions at him,
Ollie,
and then he was nice enough to answer
oh,
them. I'm like,
they're vultures. That's what they're trained to do, and yeah. They would have, as soon as they got wind of it when that news broke, they would have been camping out the front. And apparently, they were camping out at different points around, and players were being fed through different entrances to try and avoid it. But I think it's just everyone's yeah, they're vultures, which is funny. So I originally wanted to be a sports journalist. I went to university to study to be a sports journalist. And when the Essendon saga broke, I was in uni and I saw how that unfolded. And I was like, can't do that. Like camping outside someone's front lawn, not for me. And yeah, that's their business though. That's what they do. I think Ollie Florent in his little doorstop said that he'd never seen so much media interest or something before. Poor guy, probably just like, what the hell is this? There's people that actually want to speak to me about footy. Oh goodness me. No, it was yeah, it was really interesting. And like even if they didn't have something in the can, hello, we can just go back to the last media release that was sent out a few years
yeah,
ago at the last sacking. Like I'm sure there's literally something they could copy and paste or whack together, but my gut tells me that they would have had it ready and that someone higher up was telling them to hold off for whatever reason.
mm,
But I think one thing it was sort of showing to me was like it was showing like that business side rather than the footy side, which
yeah,
annoys me because like if you get the footy side right, the business side will just kind of work itself out. But we seem to be going down that I don't know, like that real business, treating the club like a business, which I know it's a business, but at the end of the day, it's still a footy club.
yeah. And that's long been a criticism of of the club, because it's veered away from the focus of obviously we're here to win premierships. End of the day, that's the reason why the club exists. But there's you see it from the whatever the club releases in terms of EDMs, like the emails and stuff, and a lot of it is just around promotions of things. They've got Carlton Business, which you need obviously to bring money into the club externally outside of obviously money brought in through memberships and ticket sales and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely that way where the club is more focused on that, and I think that's probably part of the I don't know, the cultural, I don't know, erosion, maybe because of the fact that success on field has been non-existent, and because of that, we're like, oh well, we'll just turn our attention to making money and making the club profitable. And I think it's gotten out of hand now where they kind of lose a bit of focus. And that's why I'm glad that we've got Graham Wright there as the CEO, because at least he has a background and he's been grounded in football. Like he was the head of footy. He was at Collingwood, Hawthorn. He was actually in recruiting as well at Hawthorn. And he comes to that role with a bit of, a mindset around football. Whereas, you think back to those that we've had in the CEO role, they're purely focused on the business side of things. So at least in that respect there, I'm pretty happy that we've got Graham Wright, but probably turn our attention as well to, who comes in now. I mean, well, obviously Josh Fraser's got the interim role, but who comes in beyond that? And Graham Wright will have a bit of work to do from now until the end of the season to do as many interviews as he can with assistant coaches at other clubs and identify some of the talent, which he was able to do when he was at Collingwood correctly, which he identified Sam Mitchell as their preferred option at Collingwood at the time. And Hawthorn got wind of that and gave Clarko a tap on the shoulder. And off the back of that, they wanted Sam Mitchell to come in as the coach of the Hawks. So he then turned his attention to Craig McRae, and both of those coaches, in their own way, have shown to be successful. Obviously, Craig McRae has won a flag at the Pies now, but Sam Mitchell has shown in his own right that he's quite a insightful coach, and he's a modern day coach. He's a great tactician, and the way that Hawthorn play their footy, very modern day. And I have no doubt that I think we're going to be going down that path again, given that Graham Wright has the control over things and going for a first-time coach. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see who it's going to be. I'll be surprised if it's actually a coach with previous experience, because I mean, it's probably a different kettle of fish, because Michael Voss was really the only, outside of Ross Lyon at the time, the only coach with experience, and it wasn't the best experience at that. And he kind of Stephen Bradbury into the role, which was kind of leads back to, I've spoken about a few times, but the tweet that I made back in 2021 on September 14th or whatever it was when he was appointed. And I said that it wasn't not going to be a successful appointment. And it was because of the process that we had in terms of identifying the coach. So hopefully, I mean, the board hasn't really changed, and that's the more concerning part. But hopefully Graham Wright has full control over who he wants in the role, and it's not the board puppeteering Graham Wright, because that would probably lead us down a similar track to where we've just been on in previous, coaching appointments as well. But
And
to that
hopefully it's
point,
not a rush decision. And that's why, I think it's a good thing that it's happened. So, we can just say this season was going to be a write-off anyway, regardless of who was at the helm. If it was Vossi or if it's Josh Ray or whoever's in control, it's going to be a write-off. We could clearly see that. So I think it's actually a good decision that he's resigned or he's leaving early. So we have more time to make an informed decision. And we keep talking about, they kept talking about in interviews about how, they really want to go hard at the draft this year because
mm,
it's going to be the last draft that's not going to be compromised when Tassie come in and all of that. It's the same sort of goes for coaching as well, I think, because, there's still a coaching position that has to be filled at Tassie. So,
mm,
Nathan Buckley most likely is going there, is what they're saying. Um, but yeah, I think more time is better. We can make decision. I don't necessarily think a tried coach is the right answer. And if we got Ken Hinkley, I don't think I'd be happy
mm,
personally.
no.
I think John Longmire, I'd be like, yep, I could understand that. But Ken Hinkley, don't think I would be over the moon about that. An untried coach, if they came from working under a very tactical coach, I think I would be okay with. But yeah, I don't really care. I think we've tried the untried path, we've tried the tried path. None of it's worked so far. So I don't know. What do you think? Who do you think we should be targeting?
Yeah, well, there's Hayden Skipworth who he's been spoken about a fair few times now within the media and within footy circles about he's a really good tactician and supposedly he's kind of the brains behind the operation at the Pies, whereas McRae's kind of that motivator, which I can kind of see there being some truth behind that because Craig McRae's a really nice bloke. He was actually at Collingwood when I was there. He was the VFL coach and a really nice bloke. And I can understand why the players would want to play for him and culturally would be a really good motivator across the club. But he's probably someone that I think we definitely need. And I I don't know because it's hard to say because we've had coaches in the past I mean Teague wasn't really much chop anyway in that area, but really wasn't much of a motivator anyway. Voss, by all accounts, in terms of I guess his status being Michael Voss, a Brownlow medalist, there was that drum up of the fact that he was a good motivator, but really nice bloke in his own right as well. But tactically fell short there. And then you kind of think back to Brendan Bolton. I think he was kind of the opposite. He lacked a few, for lack of a better word, people skills, I think. So he wasn't the
Mm,
best communicator. Nice bloke though, of course, but he, I think, was a good tactician and kind of what he was trying to implement at the time there. Obviously, we had a very young list and we were in a spot there. We weren't contending. We were going down a bad path and we weren't getting results, obviously, but he was trying to build something from the ground up in terms of building from defense and then getting the team's head around that and then building the midfield and the forward line as sort of a complete thing. And I think with him going to Collingwood, he would have had some sort of influence towards the Pies winning the flag, no doubt. But I just think that across the journey, we haven't really had a good combination. So as long as that candidate is a great tactician, but also a great communicator and a good cultural leader, I think you need to find that well-rounded. And I think with Voss, and I don't know, obviously, because you don't know unless you're actually within the club, but the way that you see him conduct things in press conferences and post-game, it seems as though he lacked a fair bit of emotion and was kind of detached from results almost because, if you're not like us as supporters, we're obviously going to be angry. We're going to be pissed off, disappointed, but you need that attachment emotionally in order to, I think, be a decent coach. And you look at Sam Mitchell and he looks absolutely pissed when Hawthorn aren't implementing what he wants, aren't getting the results, losing close games. And he's been that way multiple times. And I think that, I don't know if it was a case where Voss just got to the point where it was like, I'm just going to detach emotionally and, kind of like us supporters and not feel anything. But I think back to even early days and he didn't really have that emotional attachment. And I don't know, like, does that say that maybe the negative reinforcement side of things was lacking and it was just positive reinforcement, which doesn't work in a situation where we're losing week after week after week? There comes a point where you need to knuckle down and actually put in the hard work and have some pretty honest conversations. And that kind of leads to that, I guess in the media, they spoke about the rumor that Georgie Hewitt actually wasn't told as to why he was omitted, which I think is pretty piss poor if that's the case. And again, talks to that lack of communication as a coach and, transparency, which I think players need. So I don't know. As long as the candidate comes in and can do both things, like have honest conversations without the worry of hurting feelings. And if players want to leave, like Charlie, for example, if it was off the back of Voss having honest conversations with him, then so be it. But in time, I'd like to hear more about that as well with regards to
mm,
what actually happened. Because then, of course, we have Silvani leaving the club, which I don't know if it's again linked to that. If it's a breakdown of relationships with other teammates, maybe I don't know, but yeah, I think there just needs to be really, I don't know. Graham Wright just needs to knuckle down and work out who the perfect candidate is for this club longer term, because it seems as though the previous coaches have ticked one box and not necessarily two. But people tuning in, let us know your thoughts as well as to who you think we should go for and who you think we could grab in terms of Voss's replacement. But we might go through some comments as well. Now, this is, of course, my best mate, aka Clint, who I've spoken about in the past when I was a young lad, going to games at Optus Oval, as it was called then. This is my best mate that I've been referring to that would come along to games with me, sitting in the Gardner stand, watching us get smashed by 60 odd points week after week after week. And he hit a point where he kind of followed the A-League and Melbourne Victory more than Carlton, because not because of Carlton, but because of the way that the AFL was heading and rule changes. And even back then, in the early to mid 2000s, it was going down a path where the footy wasn't quite the same, and you compare it to what it is now, and it's crazy. But as you can see there, just with reference to the conversation about PRFC, aka Carlton FC, like Victory, he says they're focusing on filling tables and corporate boxes rather than winning leagues.
The
So,
irony of that is, though, if you win the games, the people will come.
yep.
That's the irony. If you get the footy part right, you saw what it was like in 2023, selling out games, Captain's Club fully booked up. You had to go on a wait list for Captain's Club. I'm sure, like Felix, our son, is on a wait list for Captain's Club because I was like, might as well put him on the list now. I'm sure it'll be he'll be getting through a lot quicker than what probably we thought now, because people will drop off. You win,
True.
they will come. Get the footy right, you can sell anything to anyone.
Yeah, it's always these tactics as well from the club, isn't it? Like, sell your seat and all that sort of stuff, and trying to give us discounts and things like that. And yeah, it's just they're trying to. I can understand they're trying to get as many supporters as they can to games, but end of the day, if
That's
you
their objective, though. That's their
yeah,
objective. That's their from a business point of view, that's their objective, because the AFL's focus would be getting eyeballs onto TV screens, and the club's objective would be getting bums on seats. So they'll be doing anything to get in your seat.
Yep, exactly. But they're just,
That's where
like you
they
said,
make money.
you need to be aligned with the focus on pouring as much focus as you can into being a successful football team on field, and with that comes profit, everything else. And I think because the club's now so misguided and the focus is elsewhere because we've been so unsuccessful over 2 decades plus now, the clubs have to find other avenues to be profitable, and they now need to rejig and refocus. Hey, the team's actually not too bad. Like in terms of the past few years, I mean, 2023, we were almost, making a grand final. So you think there would have been a switch up there with pumping out and doing all that sort of stuff, but I think now they've just ramped up. Like, okay, well, let's just do more business sided stuff and not focus on the footy, which is kind of a bit silly. But yeah, Petra, you're right there in terms of Sam Mitchell. He's a very, very good footy mind, and I think that's part of the reason why Graham Wright was keen on him. Because they've identified getting guys into their team like who's the big tall man they got from Gold Coast and Richmond. He was like the full forward. They got him in. His name escapes me. Wacky hairstyle, but he was someone that was a bit of a shit kicker, for lack of a better word. He was at Gold Coast, Richmond, Gold Coast, couldn't get games, and they identified him as someone that could be a role player. Brought him in, and he's been kicking goals for them and actually playing a role. So that's the beauty of having someone with great footy IQ and being able to identify footy talent from other teams that aren't necessarily superstars in their own right and aren't going to cost an arm and a leg. So we just need someone like that. But Nick Austin is the other one as well, which we haven't spoken about. The departure of him, I find very strange. I'll have to I might pull up some articles and stuff because I haven't been across too much of the goings on. But I don't know if you've read any more than what I have. But I just find it strange because personally, I actually think what he's done at the club whilst he's been in his role has actually been pretty good in terms of identifying the talent of Jagger Smith, trading up the order to get him into the club. I think it's kind of divided. There are some people saying that, we should have kept the 2 picks and got in, two players of talent. But I think from what we've seen of Jagger Smith, he fulfills a role that we need filled in terms of speed, endurance, an outside player. We've only got Walsh really, Cottrell on a wing, Matty Carroll in terms of speed. Sardi's now virtually on one leg. Guys like that. So he identified talent. He identified a role that we needed filled, and he's actually been pretty good, I think, by and large. There are going to be hits and misses. But I don't know. What are your thoughts in terms of Nick Austin leaving and also the circumstances around that?
Yeah, well, I think it was Agenda Setters last night. I caught a bit of it, and they mentioned that Nick Austin literally turned up to work on Tuesday morning like a normal day and didn't know what was going to happen, and he got basically told to pack his bags and leave, allegedly. So that's pretty interesting. And then I also heard I think it was on Agenda Setters as well, that allegedly he's going to be taking like legal action against the club because of it. So I don't know if it's like an unfair dismissal situation. I don't know how it kind of works in footy club based on performance, not like obviously like a regular job. So allegedly he's seeking legal action for what happened. So it did come as a bit of a shock. I think the fact that it happened on the same day that Voss also left was kind of a bit strange. Like, was it done on purpose so that people wouldn't notice? I don't know. Like, it wouldn't be as big a news story. Not sure. But I agree. I don't know why he was let go. There's obviously a bigger piece there. I don't know. Maybe I honestly think they're throwing everything out and starting again, which scares me when it comes to players.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. So this is an article through Fox Sports, and this is before it's come. There's another article I'll flash up on screen in a moment about potential legal action, but that's virtually what they're saying there is it was kind of blindsided, as you've mentioned there, by the move. And this is from, so this is what you're referencing here. Tom Morris, the Agenda Setters, was a brutal blindside. Nick Austin walked into work yesterday morning not knowing that Michael Voss would also be leaving his job, but also not knowing that he would lose his job. He had a meeting for 5 or 10 minutes with the hierarchy at Carlton, and he was brutally told that he no longer worked at the Blues. My understanding is he's considering legal actions tonight and whether he can take it further. Austin replaced Stibble Savani, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, very strange, which I don't know why there would be reason to move him on with haste. Like, as I said, he's not going to be doing anything more in his role apart from preparing for the end of season. So I don't know why they didn't just move him on. Like
Well,
at the end of season.
so there's either someone that they've got in mind that they want to get in quick smart, or it is that planning for the end of the year. Like, they want to get the end of the year right. Like, and I think as well, like, if Voss is going, then they probably just like, all right, let's just clear. If we know we're going to get rid of him, just clear it all out at the same time and get on with it. I don't know. It's bizarre. I don't think he deserved to lose his job. Another one that's lost his job. Pretty sad.
Yeah. Yep. And this is through 7 News, which was published this morning. It says here, this is through a statement. Can't reveal a statement. Austin held discussions with the club late this afternoon, during which time he made the decision. So they said that he made the decision to move on from his position in order to allow the club to continue through its current period of transition. But now it's come to light that Austin was in utter shock during the meeting. What we can tell you tonight was this was a beautiful. Oh, yeah, that's just reiterating what we just said in the other article. So yeah, that's kind of at odds with what the club's saying, and yeah, which if that's the case, it's pretty piss poor. Just be honest about things. If you're letting someone go, because now they've left themselves open to legal action, which is fair enough if that's the case on the part of Nick Austin.
If we're going through this transition phase, let's also transition to being open and honest. And I understand that you can't be open and honest about everything, but don't lie, maybe. That's probably the first thing about being honest. Just don't make up lies. Like, we'll find out the truth eventually. And I think, something that I don't know, did you watch when Cripper did his presser, presser on Tuesday? Or was it yes? I think it was Tuesday, and they were asking him about
Yeah.
his future. Did you notice how he didn't answer the question, but didn't say like, "Yep, I'm staying"? All I kept thinking when I saw that was of Charlie, who got supposedly this is what Charlie said when he that interview with The Age earlier this year, where he was told to lie
Mm.
and just say that you're staying at the club.
Yeah.
And all I kept thinking was, okay, well, Cripper's obviously not made that mistake. Maybe they've learned from their mistake there, and that Cripper's not going to be like, yeah, I'm staying, and then he turns around at the end of the year and he's going to Freo or something. But anyway, just like, let's be honest about everything.
Mm.
Don't have to be open about everything. I get it. We don't need to know everything. We don't have a right to know everything as a member or a
Yeah.
supporter, but you can be honest.
Yeah. It's pretty stupid. So I don't know whose idea it is. I mean, as you said, there's a bit of a theme here in terms of lying and mistruths in different areas. Yeah, like with Charlie, all you need to say, like the classic thing and the token thing that you normally say is no comment. But
Or
literally,
no, you don't say no comment, because no comment, that's bad. You don't say that, but you say like what Cripper said, like, I've still got a contract until the end of the year
yeah,
and I'm playing to that contract, or whatever it is. You kind of brush it off. What did TDK do? He kind of avoided the question he just kept talking about his current
yeah.
situation. He kind of
You talk about the
deflect.
now.
Yeah, you
You
talk
don't
about
talk
the
about the
now.
future. Yeah.
No, you say nothing. You give them nothing.
Yeah. I'll just read through some comments here because I've fallen behind. Apologies. Kerm, of course, no to Longmire for me. Have PTSD from going for long-serving single club coaches that come to the Blues later. Pagan, Malthouse, etc. Yep, I tend to agree.
Malthouse.
Even though,
Oh.
yeah, Malthouse, my lord. But a classic case there of in both of those situations, going and paying big dollars for a proven coach, yes, but Malthouse was one and done, run and done. He was needed to be put out to pasture, and he saw it as a cash grab opportunity and came
100%.
in and burnt the place to the ground almost. And Pagan, back in the day, a really hard ass coach, but I think he was very much one dimensional. Without, of course, Wayne Carey with the Pagan, the paddock, as it were, because virtually like pulling every forward out of the forward line and just leaving Wayne Carey to do his thing. Remove Wayne Carey from any team, and Pagan's game plan fell down. And when he came to Carlton, who obviously were struggling, and after the salary cap rorts and everything else, losing draft picks and players and having to get these suburban footballers in virtually, Pagan was a bit out of his depth. So, but in both situations there, like with Malthouse especially, we got rid of Ratton prematurely in order to get Malthouse into the club, which
Mm-hmm.
hurts even more in that context. Just to add salt into the wound with Malthouse. Voss was a fantastic player. Didn't carry over to coaching, it seems. Yeah, and it seems to be a bit of a trend. Like there's so many decent players that haven't been able to produce anything. Modern day players, anyway. Like there are the champions back in the day, like Ron Barassi and whatnot. But modern day champion players aren't necessarily good coaches. Still gives me nightmares talking about Malthouse there. Petra, no, Longmire, prefer a dynamic forward thinker that works well with young and mature players. Lou needs to get.
The thing I like about Long, if we were to go with a tried coach, the thing I like about Longmire, is it Longmuir or Longmire? I thought it was Longmire.
Longmire, yeah. I always get
Yeah.
confused. Yeah, Longmuir is Freya's coach.
Yeah, I was like, hang on a minute. The thing I like about Longmire is he didn't leave Sydney like on bad terms, or he didn't leave when the team were really like had crashed. Whereas Hinkley, like Port, were already on the decline when he's left. So I just feel like, well, you were part of that too. So we don't need that. We want someone that, didn't, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Longmire resign after a grand final appearance? Like Sydney made the grand final, yeah.
Mm,
So to me, I'm like, well, you didn't leave when the team was crashing anyway,
Yeah, exactly.
or had crashed.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just, and it makes you wonder as well because, he was saying that he was burnt out. Does he have the passion to come back and, be in it for the long haul with the club? Because
Mm.
at the stage we're currently in, it's probably going to take a little while before we can turn things around. And then with Tassie coming in and everything else, Jonas, record. I'm not going to read your username, mate. It's got me once or twice. Record number of 5+ consecutive goals conceded, and some people still supported Voss. Unbelievable. He needed marathon runners who were world class sprinters for his game plan to work. And yeah,
It was
it's
really
amazing.
funny. Oh, sorry. I keep cutting you off because we're in this weird delay thing 'cause we're in the same room, kind of. I was going to say, it was so funny reading some of the comments on Facebook, and it's always a bit of a pit, but people being like, oh, how's sacking Voss going to make our players fitter? Well, they're not going to be running from one end to the other the entire game. That will
Yeah,
probably help.
exactly. And it's amazing the amount of people on Twitter as well. Like I mentioned the game against Brisbane when Hayward kicked 2-3 goals and played primarily as a forward, which is what his one wood is. Like that's his strength. He's high marking and he's goal kicking now. He kicked 40 goals in 2 seasons ago at Sydney, and all of a sudden he's being pushed down into defence more often than not. You see Frankie Evans in defence. Our entire forward line is in the defensive half more often than not. And I made a tweet saying it was great to see results like Hayward kicking a bag of goals because lo and behold, he's been played as a forward. And people still not understanding. I'm sure people just read stats or they look at stats, look at the final score, and they think, oh, yeah, no. Like, Hayward's kicked 3 goals and everything else. Like he's been all right. But he was actually being played in his proper position. And they're like, oh, no. Well, he was down in defense. It's like, well, he wasn't really. And I've still got that vision, which might pop up as well, which at the North Melbourne game, I couldn't believe it, which has happened week after week. And it's where the entire half of the ground is being pushed, or the press, they call it, pressed into the opposite side of the ground. And it happens both on attack and defense. And that's part of the reason why we get found out. And it's ridiculous. But people on Twitter, they're like, no. They're like, players aren't made to be marathon runners. And I'm like, well, look at this vision. You're trying to tell me that Harry, who's made made to be sprinting like gout multiple times in game, isn't going to be cooked in the second half. Like, of course, players going to be absolutely cooked if they're made to be doing repeat sprint efforts. You'd have to be a marathon runner and an absolute, gun, 20-meter sprinter. It's just ridiculous.
But it was funny because after the Brisbane game, we were talking about what the difference was. Do you think someone else was coaching the second half of that
Yeah.
game?
Yes.
Genuinely.
Or did word filter through to the players? Did Cripper perhaps let slip, hey, this is going to be Voss's last game, and all the players are like, yeah, and they're just fist pumping. They're like, let's fucking do our own thing. Let's kick Latchley. Let's use the corridor. Just rebelling against
No.
whatever Voss didn't want them to do.
I'm convinced Voss was like, I'm going to sit this one out. Someone else let's try something different. And he tried something different and it worked. I've actually, call me crazy, and I know you will. I've actually tipped us this week because I just have a
No?
feeling. I know I just have a feeling all the time, but genuinely, remember that when we got, who was it when we played Brisbane, who we just sacked? Who was it? And we ended up coming back and
Yeah,
winning.
Teague. Yeah, David
Yeah,
Teague.
was it
In fact,
Teague?
Kerm, if you're still tuning in, my best mate,
Yeah, he was
he
at
was
that
at that
game.
game. Yeah.
Yeah. So, crazy things have happened. And whoever was coaching that second half, we looked better.
Yeah.
So I hope you coach again this week.
There's a few people on Twitter mentioned it as well. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. But this is before it came out that Voss had decided that it was going to be his last game. But now knowing that he's finished up, yeah, it's kind of, maybe there's a bit of truth to it. Yeah, it's very, very strange. Petra, the same team, also showed it can pile on goals and create healthy leads. I'll put everything on the players, especially the leaders. Very disappointing. So Petra is in the camp of the players, which we're not saying the players aren't to blame. Like, they definitely are. They're out there, obviously, to play football, which they're not doing at a high standard. but it's like any relationship. Like it takes two to tango. It's the coach as well as the playing group as well as a whole, and they're not pulling their weight collectively. But we've removed one of those factors, so now I
Mhm.
think it puts the pressure on the players for the rest of the season. That was part of the reason why I've been all for getting rid of Voss now as soon as possible, because it means the
Mm.
players now have to hold themselves to account if the results
Yeah.
aren't coming. The blowtorch
The
is on
thing
them. The
is as
media is
well.
going to be talking about it.
Like, think about how mentally drained we feel
Mm,
watching the same thing happen week after week after week after week. Imagine how
mm.
they would feel. So I think
Yep.
it's like just a change of environment and the change of coach might mentally reset them as well.
Mm. Yeah, because I think you're totally right. Like if you're, and it probably applies to any industry, if you're working under a manager who has you doing shit kicker jobs that you're not
Yeah,
enjoying, but you're not getting
yeah.
results
Or you
at
know
the
it's
same
not
time.
working.
Yeah, and you know there's a better way to go
Yeah,
about things, more efficient.
yeah.
You would be frustrated as well, and you wouldn't be enjoying your job, and you'd probably seek employment elsewhere. So, like in that
Mm,
respect, you probably understand why the likes of Charlie wanted to leave, maybe Sauce wanted to leave as well. If it did tie in with being pissed off with the way that the club was or the team was being played, and playing under Michael Voss as a whole there. Now, best mate Clint here, he says they need to sell more badges of fringe players in the shop and then have them in the bargain bin late in the season, just like off the social days. You're unlocking memories there. It was quite.
when you come down, whenever you come down next, we have to go to Icon Park because you won't recognize the place. There's no such thing as a
Yeah,
bargain bin anymore.
yeah. I think the Gardner stand's probably close to being put in the bargain bin. It
Falling
is
apart.
that close to falling apart. But they're apparently renovating it, which is good to see because I was worried they're going to pull it down. But then I
Yeah,
think your dad was saying that it's heritage listed or something, which they can't actually demolish it. Which
you're
thank
gonna
God, because
restore it. Yeah.
yeah, the club actually probably would. I wouldn't put it past him. That's the man I was thinking of. Ads Chol, and by the way, I've just noticed as well. Your profile picture is Arnold from his documentary in Pumping Iron, which is a bit of a reference to Supercoach Edge and Sam Cumming, who is one of the better rookies in Supercoach, and I always make reference to Arnold when he talks about him pumping iron in the gym, as well as getting oiled up on stage. He likens it to coming, and he says he's coming day and night because he's coming at the gym, he's coming out on stage, he's coming at home. So thank you, Ads. Very very good gag there. Everyone else is oblivious, but just for a bit of context. Jonas, lack of leadership on field has been disappointing too. Yeah, I think a lot of people are saying, and this is probably leading to the next discussion point about trading the likes of Cripps, Weeders. Like, of course, they're going to cop heat. I've been
Mm,
disappointed with Weeders in the way that he's been playing. But again, with bad form comes low confidence, everything else. So I do understand that, but it seems to me it's a case of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and it's like burn everything to the ground because we're so pissed off, and you kind of need to be a bit more level-headed. You can't just be
yeah.
making sweeping changes, which we have made in recent seasons, and of course, sweeping changes we did make to the coaching side of things as well around Voss. Apart from I think Fraser, um, who else was it? There a couple of others, Jordan Russell and someone else, but outside of those three coaches, there were sweeping changes there. We got rid of a whole host of, deadwood in terms of the list. And
Mm,
now more changes. I think people are just, they've got a taste for blood now and they want to move on our leaders, which you've got to remind yourself, like, these players, they don't lose talent within the space of a season or two, unless they're the back end of their career where natural regression does happen. Like, even the likes of Pendlebury, we're seeing now he's kind of limping to the finish line, but he's still showing decent games here and there. But you don't lose that talent. And I can guarantee that when we have a decent coach in, when we have a decent core group of players in, Wiedering will get back to his best. He was all Australian
mm,
over only a couple of seasons ago. Cripper's won 2 Brownlow medals. And I know with Cripper, it's probably a little bit of a different case because he's a little bit older and he's probably on the edge of regression. He's looking very slow, which he always hasn't had really any speed. But just to that point, I don't think we should be trading out these guys who will form the nucleus of our team. We have young guys coming in. We've got Dean, we've got Jagger, we've got O'Farrell. We've got, of course, Cody Walker coming in. So we do have a bit of talent being injected back into the list, and we need these leaders around the club because otherwise it falls away very, very quickly.
The other thing to think though is, are these players genuinely considering leaving or wanting to leave, or is it just a case of the media using Carlton for headlines and clicks as they always do? So, they didn't get their headline because Sam Walsh re-signed very early. Was it before the season even started or very early in the season? I can't even remember. So they didn't get their headline there of will he, won't he for Sam Walsh all year. So Cripps, I can kind of understand where there might be some speculation. He hasn't had a great year performance-wise. He's getting older. Does he want to go back home? I get that. Wiedering, where did that even come from? Is his contract? He's up for his contract's not anywhere near up for
Yeah, he just re-signed for
discussion.
6+ years or something. A big deal.
Yeah. So where did that even come from? Just media making it up again.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I don't think we can go throwing out all these players. The other thing, like these older players are good. Not that Weeders is old, but like these older players are good because they're teaching that younger generation. When Cripps was coming through, Juddy was there, the one that was helping him and teaching him everything that he knew. Cripps should be there teaching the next gen, giving advice to Jagger, whatever it might be. So it's not even necessarily about, at this point, performance on field. It's what they can give to some of these younger players from a mentor point of view and leadership off the field as well. But agree, it's been pretty lackluster this season. But I honestly believe if we don't see a change now, then we can be a little bit more critical of them. But I think having gone through what they've had to go through every week, and I know it's at their own hands, but mentally, I think that would be playing a part of it too.
Yeah, exactly right. It's a fair point here as well, Dean, that everyone wants Carlton to be brutal and ruthless again. But when they're brutal, fans think they're too brutal. And I think the issue with the club is that we've been brutal, but in the wrong ways. Like, I still think getting rid of Matt Kennedy is one of the dumbest moves I think we've made in a fair while in terms of shipping players out of the side. Like, he's a leader. He provided that, obviously, but he provided so much on field as well. And we see what he's doing at the Dogs in his first couple of seasons. And it's like, what are we doing? Like, I understand we're trying to reshape the list and get rid of guys that perhaps don't have speed, but we're not exactly replacing him with players that have speed. So just keep him on the list. I'm sure he wanted to stick around, but it just gets back to like mismanagement of players and the fact that I still remember, and every time I think of the elimination final game against Brisbane, yes, I think about that 60 to zip margin in I think it was the second quarter. But I also think about TDK being the sub and Matt Kennedy being subbed off when I think his wife had given birth, and he still made the trip to Brisbane to play this game, and he played a quarter and a bit. And I'm like,
and then got subbed.
And then he got traded. And I understand, like, if I was him, I would be so pissed off. I know it's just that's part and parcel with footy, but that was mismanagement of, first and foremost, TDK being the sub in that game, which was absolutely ridiculous. You don't have a ruckman as the sub, and then to sub off Kennedy when he was actually playing half decently to that point anyway. It just was a stupid thing to do, and I think it gets back to kind of that point of the relationship between the coaching staff and the players, and culturally, it doesn't paint a very good picture, I don't think. And it's probably part of the reason why Boak's been brought into the club to try and help things out there, but things are just all over the shop. But yeah, there's brutal, but then there's being calculated, I think, and we haven't been calculated in any way, shape, or form. We've been brutal, and it's just been outright brutal with no logic behind it.
I think as well, Boak may have spent his first part of being at the club just like looking and seeing, maybe he's had input into how things have been managed today. And I think now would be the time to hopefully help change the culture as well.
Yeah. It's
No, at this point, if Cripps went back to WA,
yeah,
I would not blame him.
no.
I would not blame him at all. because exactly he's been through 6 or 7 coaches. Like he might go WA, go to West Coast. He's not going to win a premiership, but he'll be at home, or
Yeah.
he might be able to get to Freo. I don't know if Freo have any. Well, would Cripps even be worth much?
Yeah, probably not. I mean, they would probably just try and get him on the cheap. You think back to other players as well, like Sam Mitchell. He was shipped out of Hawthorn to West Coast for his last 1 or 2 seasons. Drew Petrie from North Melbourne went to West Coast for a season. Hawthorn got rid of, was it Lewis and someone else, and went to Melbourne. So there's groundwork there, but that was
Mm,
for, at the time, I'm sure the supporters of those respective teams are like, "What the bloody hell is going on here?" But that's the ruthless and brutality of what we're talking about before, which is fair and it rejuvenates the team. I think with Cripper as well, that with the sentimental side of things and the love that we have for him, it makes sense. Like he had so many opportunities across the journey to go and place elsewhere for teams that were in a premiership window, and
mm,
he said no time and
and
again.
earn more
So,
money. Yeah,
and earn more money as well. Exactly right. So
he's
his
stuck very
loyalty
loyal. Yeah.
is probably one of the biggest shows of loyalty from a player
Mm,
in, I reckon, AFL wide, not just historically at our club. So if he wanted to leave, I'd say,
mm,
look, in terms of what he's offering, he's not offering the same as what he has previously, obviously. But for a young team like West Coast, even Freo, they're within the window of winning a flag. If you wanted to go there, go for a Cripper. You deserve it. So
yeah, I wouldn't get rid of him. Like in terms
no,
of like, I wouldn't get rid of him. But if he was like, "Hey,
yeah,
I want to go home," fair.
yeah,
But if he went somewhere else, I probably wouldn't be that okay with it. But if he went home, I'd be like, "Okay, get it."
yeah. Pagan won a Whitnall to be Wayne. Good old Sauce, classic.
And didn't
Austin did a
Pagan
good.
and Brendan Favola like hate each other?
Who's that? Sorry.
Pagan and Brendan Favola, didn't they hate each other?
No, they loved each other. Actually, Pagan saved Fev's
I thought
career.
they
It was
hated each other.
no, you're thinking of Corey McKernan. Corey McKernan and Dennis Pagan hated each other.
Oh,
So
ignore
Corey
me.
McKernan won a best and fairest with us, and then Pagan was hired as coach, and Corey McKernan went to shit. Like we went from like the best season, career best season, to the shittest season because he was playing under Pagan and they just did not get along. And then it was at the end of that season, Corey McKernan requested a trade back to North Melbourne because Dennis Pagan had followed him from North to Carlton. But yeah, Favola was on the verge of being given the sack when Wayne Britton was there as coach prior to Pagan. And yeah, Wayne Britton got given the ass. Pagan came in and said, "Look, son," sat him down and said, "Look, son, I'm going to give you a chance. Clean slate. You've never played under me before. Do your thing and keep your head in the game." And yeah, was able to do what he did and turn things around. And before he went off the rails later on down the track, but yeah, probably gave himself a few extra years to his career. But otherwise, yeah, he would have been on the scrap heap and picked up by someone else, and yeah, sliding doors moment
There
would have
you go.
occurred. Dean, I can see you're not a fan of Austin here, so did a good job. But he's good going to win a flag. Wright and Davies clearly pushing for elite standards. Whatever they do, however they do it, I'm prepared to back them. Yeah, fair enough as well. Like you can only judge them based upon retrospect. It's too early to judge now. Whoever the replacement is, provided they do a better job than Austin, then yes, it was a good move. It could go the opposite way. Hopefully not. But
When
yeah,
did
well,
Austin come in? When did Austin come in?
he was 2021, I think he might have been.
It'd be interesting to go back and look at the drafts that Austin was involved in and the picks that we had. I know this is like retrospective and, some things you can't pick with drafts, but it would be interesting to go back and see who we could have got with our picks, like who went, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
who went after our picks that we could
yeah.
have gotten if there was anyone that we missed from Austin's tenure. But that might be a little, like maybe that can be a little sub episode.
Yes, yeah, it might be. I can actually bring it up on screen in a moment and have a quick run through. But yeah, it probably deserves a little bit of deep diving. That's
Yeah.
for sure. I just wanted to bring up as well. Just this is via. Oh, well, my other browser's frozen. Classic. So I never use Safari, and it freezes for the first time that I've opened it because I don't want to use it on this same browser that I'm using StreamYard on. But I wanted to bring up on screen just some nice little stats that Lukey Mason, another good mate of mine, who loves his stats as well, he mentioned with regards to the coaches who have coached more than 200 games and the top 5 worst performers in terms of win-loss ratio. Now, you would be surprised to see, let me bring it up on screen here, because I was surprised, I must admit, in terms of the win-loss ratio for the one Michael Voss. If I can bring it up, is that the one? I don't know if that's the
I saw this. It was 48%, wasn't it?
It was just trying to find if that's the right. I've got a million things open here. So I think that's, yep, there you go. So I've just typed into Chat GPT. Believe it or not, Michael Voss has the 3rd worst win-loss ratio of any coach to have coached over 200 games. So Bill Stephen coached 258 games for a win percentage of 32.95%. Ted Whitten, believe it or not, 2nd worst, coached 228 games for a win-loss percentage of 39.91. Michael Voss, 212 games for a win-loss percentage of 43.87, which I find very, very interesting. And yeah, just a kind of, yeah, that isn't spoken about in terms of him as a coach overall. Obviously, his first crack at coaching at Brisbane didn't deliver too many wins there. I think he was bang on 50-50 in terms of win-loss ratio at Carlton or thereabouts.
I think he was 48. I remember seeing. So I remember seeing that the only other coach that had come close to that was Ratton, like in that period of the ones that had been sacked. Where did I see that? Let me try and remember.
Yeah, interesting. In the meantime, I'll go through some of the comments because they're getting away from me. I'm about 20 minutes behind, so let me just quickly catch up. Dean, only 4 experienced coaches in the last 50 years have moved to other clubs to win flags. Park and Blight, Matthews, Malthouse for 7 flags out of the last 50 premierships. There you go.
That's an interesting stat.
Widescreen, you probably need a coach to set you up for the next 5 years with a good culture and standards. Don't talk about finals, just about improving culture. Yep, very good point.
Yeah, agree.
Lou, Dean, what about Walls? I don't know what the reference was there. Sorry, you're referencing, Dean here. You should have wife all the time. Well, that's the thing. You asked the question whether or not you could come in, but the webcam doesn't shoot wide enough, and I've only got the one mic.
I'm not that wide, thank you.
To fit both of our heads on this screen, you'd probably take up 3/4 of it. But
yeah, no worries. No, I did ask, can we sit in the same room? Because sometimes it does, like, the talking over each other thing, you don't have the flow as well as if you're in the same room.
Yeah. Yes,
We
Dean,
only
the odds.
text, we don't actually talk.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. On a cup and a string. Widescreen list management is the main issue. As a neutral, should have gone way harder to improve the list after the prelim and didn't. Think Voss overachieved with maybe a slightly above average list. To that point as well, a lot of people are very quick to forget only a couple of seasons ago, the chatter around trying to target Dan Houston. Now imagine if we traded, we got Dan Houston in. I don't think it would have really improved us much at all, because we're virtually finding out now we're not in a premiership window at all. So it probably would have just eaten up salary cap. And now I think at the end of this season, we're going to have a fair bit of money in the bank to use. And off the back of last season as well, with Charlie departing. I just think, it was kind of a bit of a misguided thing. Because I think I can't recall if was he a free agent or was he a restricted free agent, or did they trade?
I
think
don't
it was.
know.
Yeah, I have to look back. But,
I remember we were trying to get him, but I don't recall.
Yeah, I think he was. I think Collingwood actually. Yeah, Collingwood traded for him. That's right. So we would have had to have given up some draft capital for it in order to get Houston to the club. I might have a look back as to see what they gave up. I think Collingwood got him for a little bit of a bargain, but Port were asking for like our first pick, and yeah, we went to the draft after that, which I don't know if it was the Jagger draft, but either way, geez, would be, I think, now thinking, oh, we shouldn't have gone for Dan Houston if we went for him, because with the state that the list is in, we need to prioritize youngsters coming through, because Dan Houston's around about 27-ish, thereabouts. Jones, Wayno, the whole picture isn't pretty for the core group of players. How many sacking are they overseeing? If it smells off, don't try telling us we aren't in a tip. Yep, very good point. Just chatting about earlier about the Gardner stand. Plans in the works to facelift the Gardner stand. Heritage listing drags out approval. There you go. Petra don't want selfish sooks on the list. Poor role models for young players. Is this a Damon's wife? Yes, sir, this is. Very good, Dean. I think there was a typo there, but I'll say it with an accent because that's how it's read. That's how it's supposed to be read. Like I'm down Lygon Street. And I can say that as well because you're half Italian. And I can speak Italian. Wayno, I've never seen weeders being caught in no man's land as much as this year. Something is off for sure. Agree, though, you have to have a mix of older and new. Nuclear option only leaves a wasteland. Yep, 100%. You need to be smart about things with regards to that. But I reckon there's been elements of that as well. And that's a part of his game, Weeders, that really annoys me, where he kind of has the ball, goes to turn one way, turns back the other, and then is like, oh, shit, what am I going to do? And just boots it like out of defensive 50, and it always lands in the opposition's hands. One thing with Weeders that shits me. But in positioning there, he's been caught out a fair bit, as you've mentioned there as well, which I think is, I don't know if it's due to setup, game plan. Is it just his head not being in the game? Don't know. Indeed, it is this boss. Oh, he's talking about you. Indeed, it is the boss. You know what? I need Paddy's thoughts on all of this. Yeah, Paddy, of course, he's not here. I think he's in with you, isn't he?
He's with me.
Referencing our fur child.
Well, I did mention that he woke us up and then that's how we found out about Voss. I failed to mention that he woke us up because he was vomiting. So I think it was quite apt.
It was. Maybe he's trying to tell us something. He'd heard the news firsthand. Well, Paddy did say that he was told early about Voss being given the arse. So
channeling his namesake.
Exactly. Agree on the Kennedy point. There was treated badly. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, got to say Farrell. McKay and Wiedering will be 29 at the end of the year. They're mentioned because they are the only two players that would get something decent in a trade. Nobody would give up anything for any other players. Yeah, I understand that. And if they're trying to target the draft, yes, they want to try and find ways, get creative to get more picks in. But I mean, if we finish,
you need some players still.
Yeah, you can't go the nuclear option, getting rid of our existing quality players, because then you find a really bad issue, which is where we were at under Brendan Bolton, where we had no decent, mature players, and they were all young, and the mid-tier players would have been Cripper and whatnot. And Harry and Charlie and Weeders at that stage were still maturing. So you need to create a balance. Otherwise, you're going to win spoon after spoon every single year because you're not being competitive. And you have to find that balance there, development as well as being competitive. Lou, we're too slow for Kennedy. Yeah. Kennedy was the only player playing decent at that point. Yeah, and I think he was the only player that played every single game as well for that season, if I recall, because we had quite a few injuries that year, which is frustrating. Jonas, they gave useless accumulator chair a 5-year extension despite.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a Chera fan. He hasn't done really not much really at Carlton. And I don't know how he got a 5-year extension. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It falls in line with the club mismanaging. This is the other issue with the club, is mismanaging contracts. And I think back to, classic one's Michael Voss. After the 2023 season, he was given an extension off the back of that one. I think he still had 1 or 2 years left on his deal. And out of the blue, we're like, okay, we'll repay you with a new deal entirely, which will get you through to what it has now to 2026.
Mm.
So just ridiculous. I don't know. Was the club fearful that another club was going to try and poach Michael Voss off the back of a one, one decent
Half.
successful, half, yeah, exactly, half successful season? Because up until the Gold Coast game, we were 4 wins, 1 draw, 9 losses, and we're coming off consecutive losses, one which is a bad one against Essendon, and then we're in the early part of that Gold Coast game looking like we're going to be trounced again. And then he
I
switched
think though
things up. And,
it's like that balance, right? It's like if a player gets snatched by free agency or whatever it is, and the club didn't do anything about it to lock them in, then the club would get criticised for that. But then if we lock in the player, it's like it's literally gambling. You're taking the gamble that the player that you're gambling on is still going to be the player that they are in 5 years, or to the caliber that we need them to be in 5 years. But unfortunately for us, the ones that we've sort of done haven't really worked out, and then we've locked in these players who probably should have been moved on.
mm,
But it's
yeah,
gambling, because if they turn out to be guns and then we haven't
yeah,
locked them in, and then they're like, see ya, everyone would be pissed off. So,
yeah. I understand
it's a
with like with
balance.
with Walsh's contract. I
Walsh,
spoke about
yes.
it. They did an episode on that, and it was doing some deep diving and stuff. And I think it gets him through past the free agency year. So yeah, obviously he was coming up to free agency or restricted free agency, but it means that we've got him on a longer term deal on big money. But it means the term is of the deal, you can spread out the money across those years, which is fair enough. But what we're finding in the AFL as well is these long contracts are kind of
The norm
commonplace.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, so and I think part of the reason why is that it doesn't really count for much, because if a player wants to leave, like Charlie, for example, when he wanted to leave, he had years left on his deal. It actually inflates the price of that player because they're still under contract. So I
Mm,
think it gives the existing club that has that player bargaining power. So I
yeah.
can understand from that respect. But again, as you said there, it's kind of a gamble because you're investing money into the player longer term that you can't then renege on.
Yeah.
You can't say to that player, "Oh, we're just going to try and trade you." They can just turn around and say, "No, I don't want to leave," and you're stuck there. Um, there is a guy, I forget his name, starts with P. Some of you in the chat might know, but was playing at Port Adelaide and went to North Melbourne on a very, very big deal. Was a midfielder. Oh, what's his name? I can't remember, but he went to North off the back of one good season at Port Adelaide, and I think it was on like a 4 or 5 year deal. And they wanted to delist him, and they couldn't. And I think they ended up paying him out because they wanted to delist him, and he was still under contract. And he was like, "All right, well then just pay me." So you kind of fall into that bit of an issue there. And Chera kind of falls into that mold at the moment where he's not performing. He's on a long-term deal. And I don't think any club out there would want to get him into their team unless they think that, if it's a Hawthorn or someone who we spoke about earlier, he might be keen to, or they might be keen to be like, we'll get him on the cheap in terms of trade capital in a sense. We won't trade too many high picks for him. And as long as you pay for half the deal, we'll get him on the cheap. And that's the other issue as well. Like Brodie Grundy, Adam Treloar, guys that have been under contract, long-term deals that have been shipped up to other clubs. And part of that agreement from the new club is like, well, okay, if you pay for a lot of
Mm.
those, those years, then we'll take him on board. So that's again the other risk that you run into there again as well.
I think as well, everyone's panicking because of Tassie as well. So that's just like another spanner in the works. So these long-term deals are coming because of the
Yeah,
unknown of what's going to happen with Tassie.
yeah, they'll be cherry picking players
Yeah.
and whatnot
Yeah.
and throwing big money, which I think is
Exactly.
with Walsh. That was the big thing as well, where
Mm.
I think we're locking him into this big deal. And yes, it's probably big dollars, but when Tassie come in, they're going to actually overinflate market value across the AFL because they've got a wide open salary cap, and they'll be throwing big money at big name players. But it kind of again bumps up the value of what a superstar is worth off the back of that. Like Butters, for example, if Tassie had come into the competition at the end of this year and they're offering big money to him, he'd be turning around to Port saying, pay me big money. Other clubs would be trying to throw money at him, but they wouldn't be able to match what Tassie are going to be able to offer. So naturally, other superstars around the competition, perhaps looking elsewhere, would be like, well, I could just easily go to another team like Tassie and they'd be throwing big dollars at me. So, yeah, I think that helps with Walsh because he would be throwing big money and we wouldn't be able to match it. So I just want to mention this with Petra. And Petra, I hope you're well, mate, because I haven't seen you I haven't been at training for a little while, but I hope you're well and I've caught you there on numerous occasions. But you said, I was told why Kennedy was let go in favour of Hewitt. I still can't believe it and will not repeat it online. Interesting. I don't know if it's anything with regards to because I know he's quite religious. Surely it's nothing to do with that. But if it's something you can't repeat, I don't know what it would be. But I'll have to get the scoop from you off the record, of course, next time we cross paths at training. Sot from AFL, a bit of a quick shout out to this great man as well. Check out his channel. He's built a bit of software which you might have seen me use at the start of the season, compiling the consensus best 23. I use this great man's bit of software, so go and check him out. Does some live streams, watch alongs and stuff as well. So good to see you, mate. And you've said we can send picks Blues way, referencing, of course, when you gave us pick 3 for Jagger Smith. You're nice crew there at the Eagles. You're very, very kind. And we'll give you a Matt Owies in return. Wayno, agree, mate. So why go to West Coast to be in the same crap position? Yeah, I think Cripper will probably be best served going to Freo. They're in the window. They're in great form at the moment. And they're actually outperforming my expectations, I think, as well. They don't really have any big superstars. They've got some great players, but maybe in the mold of, say, a Richmond. Had a couple of good players here and there, but
I will say the only thing that would maybe convince Cripps to go to West Coast, obviously, is money.
Yes. Yeah. He hasn't earned... Well, he's been earning money here playing for Carlton, but like we mentioned earlier, he's been passing up bigger money.
Loyalty tax. But
Yeah,
also,
exactly.
if it's literally just if he wants to go home and he can get good money and it's like 2 years or whatever, he might just be like, yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
Can't
exactly.
be less than being at our club, but anyway.
Yeah, well, he might as well earn his pay at the back end of his career. If he's not going to win a flag,
right.
set up yourself and your family. Kuda hated Pagan also. That's the one you're probably thinking of. Kuda.
Possibly.
He did not get along with Pagan. G'day, Bianca. Good to have you on the stream, and you will try and do a few more throughout the season. We've got about 33 people tuning in, which is great to see, considering we're a quarter to midnight on a Thursday night. Jonas, pathetic St Kilda forced out the captain of the club, Steele, who wanted to stay so they could overpay TDK and Silvani. Footy clubs do stupid things, and that is going to erode their culture, you would think, off the back of that. And yeah, not just any player, but a really good player and a captain, a leader of the club. Classic St Kilda, though. I think they're late to the party. They want to channel their inner Carlton of what Carlton was doing in the 90s, paying money to big name players and paying under the table and stuff. But yeah, they want to be Carlton. As you can see now with the amount of Carlton players, ex-Carlton players they have. Carroll, obviously TDK, Silvani, Dow, Stocker. Yeah, they want to be with Stephen Silvani there. They want to be St Kilda, Carlton, FC. Petra, no way Pagan was Fev's biggest supporter. Yep, sorry, we're falling behind here. We're about catching up. We're slowly catching up. Mitch, you've done it again, mate. You've done it again. You've gone and bloody been an absolute legend again. Here's to another rebuild. Thanks for the content as always. Thank you, Mitch, because you are a great supporter of our work here, and really do appreciate you doing that. You don't need to. Again, save your money. Save your money. We do appreciate it, of course, but in fact, you know what? We should probably take it ahead of the club because it seems as though we're performing better than what the team is at the moment. So if we are entertaining you more than what the Carlton Football Club is, why not? But no, thank you, Mitch. Really do appreciate your support. I think there was a previous stream. You kept peppering me with money, and I felt like a cheap stripper, which again, I'll take it. I'll take it, but I didn't have to take off my clothes. If you want me to, I'm happy to oblige. No, you say no. Okay, I'll settle. You have no idea. You're not in the room, so I could be actually just wearing my jumper. You just have no idea. So, Mitch, that's for you, mate. Lou, we need to find list manager ASAP. Indeed, we do. Do you rate LDU? I do rate LDU. Bonnie Blue, of course, as well. Jesus, there's a few in here, which I don't know what the go is. Have we tapped into the OnlyFans market? Bonnie Blue, of course, gets around, doesn't she? And she's a footy fan as well, so good to see. But interesting question there, Bonnie Blue. Do I rate LDU? I do indeed. I was actually at that draft. I was working for Collingwood at the time. And when we drafted, because I was very keen on LDU, Paddy Dow, I was like, yeah, maybe. But LDU, the bigger bodied sort of midfielder, yeah, that was a sliding doors moment. If it weren't for LDU compared to Paddy Dow, yeah, it would have been interesting. Would have been a nice little player. But Dow had all the hallmarks. I think we probably didn't develop him properly as well, and he had injuries and everything else. But thank you for joining. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you for joining us, Bonnie. All the very best on your bus tour or whatever you're doing next, of the Bang variety over in the UK. I think I've read. Dean, Weddle came after Ollie Hollins. There you go. So you're delving into the drafts of yesteryear. There you go. It's always hard
retrospect is always 2020, isn't it?
Yeah. You could do it with every club. Every club would have missed a player.
There's been some doozies though. There's been some absolute doozies.
Yeah, well, there's like Richard Tambling with Franklin, Roughhead. Is probably the funniest.
The known one, yeah.
But Richmond ended up winning a flag before us anyway. After that happened, so they're the ones that are laughing, even though they stuffed up massively. Petra, another one, Petra. Well, you've virtually combined with Mitch to give us a tenner, mate. So really appreciate again your generosity. And it's with people like yourself tuning in, which add to the discussion. So without all of you tuning in, we wouldn't have this sort of discussion. So appreciate your support. As always, Petra, you're an absolute legend. You know that. We've had some good yarns at the old ground there at Princess Park. Someone in the Discord was going over all the possible draft picks the other day, weren't they? Oh, they were indeed. Because in fact, our Discord, which is of course our Supercoach Edge Discord, which you're quite happy to join if you want, because we've created a baggers room within the Discord, because I found out we have actually more than a couple of Carlton supporters in there. So when I said I created a baggers room, they were like, "Oh my god, yes, finally!" But I'll have a look back in there, ads, because I think it might have been Jonas maybe that went through some of the picks. It's lost in the other room, I think, because it was hidden underneath all the chat about Carlton. All the chat about Supercoach. Anyway, I'll find it. Moving on to Lou. You've said Logan Morris is another Austin could have gotten. Yeah, he's a great player, isn't he? Another one. Another one. Dean, again, legend. We've chatted a fair bit on Twitter as well, which we combined forces. We were kind of like, that scene in Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger doing the old handshake. That was us combining up against a fellow supporter. You get supporters in every club that are very combative, and we're chatting about selection integrity and players earning a recall or earning a spot in the senior side off the back of decent form in the VFL, which has kind of been our undoing. Flynn Young should have been given a crack 4 or 5 weeks ago. He kicked 8 goals in 3 games. I think he's now kicked 10 goals in 5 games. Still hasn't got a crack. And across that time, Frankie Evans wasn't playing, and Hayward was out through suspension as well, and he still didn't get a crack. And this guy was peddling, talk about development, this, that, the other, but it's about guys getting a crack off the back of consistent form. It's not hard. And when you're not rewarding form, that's when that kind of the relationship between coach and players, and especially younger players as well, they're probably thinking, well, what do I have to do to earn a recall? If I'm not, if I'm performing and I'm not getting a crack, what are we doing? But Dean?
What's the point of the we won't go into that discussion, but like that's one of the reasons why the VFL is there, right? So that you can call players up into the AFL team. So if
Yeah.
you're not doing it, then what are you doing? It's
Yeah,
not
it's a
the
bit of
only
a
point of the VFL. I don't want to say that, but you know what I mean.
yeah, it's a bit of a stupid way to go about things. I think it's pretty
Yeah.
backwards, especially when you have guys getting cracks at senior level when they didn't quite warrant it. Like this year was Hudson O'Keefe. He had 3 cracks or two or three cracks in and out of the team when we didn't need a tall player. And I don't know why he came in because he didn't have any good form in the VFL. Motlop last year, numerous occasions where he should have been dropped, wasn't kicking goals, had a couple of tackles here and there, but was in just as a pressure forward. And I'm like, well, if you're not kicking goals, you might as well put me in there. I'm a pretty fierce tackler. I'd be all right, but I can't really kick too many goals. So yeah, it's just very, very strange. But Dean, back to that point, legend, mate. So thank you once again. Jamie, g'day, mate. Good to see you as well. One of our supporters over on the sister channel on Supercoach Edge. So I hope you're well. Jonas, only won 12 games out of our last 40. Wow.
Geez,
Sure
that
feels
feels
like it.
bad.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels actually worse than that. There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, back to that discussion. So I'm slowly catching up to these comments. Yeah, if we got Houston, it would have meant no Jagger. So Austin, you did us a good job there. Which Bowl reports Voss was very, very keen on getting Dan Houston into the club. So I'm glad that Austin put his foot down and said, go and get, because we're keeping our draft picks. Because it's nice little bit of foresight, because knowing that Tassie's coming in, compromised drafts, we need to stock up on a bit of injection of youth and talent at the high end of the draft. So, geez, I'm thankful for Austin for that. For those people that kick Austin, look at that, because that could have been, yeah, a bit of a bad situation to be in. Had to trade for Houston. When will they just say it's not the coach, it's the players? Well, they can now, mate, because the coach is gone. As we were saying earlier, the focus is now on all the players. How many elite kicks do we have? How many quick players do we have? Recruiting has been poor. Not as poor as, say, in Essendon. It could be worse. Could always be worse. Dean, what about Jake Riccardi? I actually like Riccardi. Can play at both ends, pinch hitting in the ruck as well. Someone has floated as well in the previous stream that we did. McLean from the Swans, who's not going to get a crack. I think he just got omitted this round for heading into round 10. So he might be another one as well, come on the cheap as sort of a role player. Yeah, maybe. Houston was for the now, and our now was going nowhere. Yep, Jagger 200 plus career. So again, back to that point, Voss probably was thinking, I need to save my coaching career as well. And it's that misalignment. Like, if the recruiting team are saying we need to get youngsters in, yet the head coach and the coaching staff may be extended out to them, but the head coach is saying we want players for the now. It's that you need to be on the same page. It's like, where is the team at? So yeah, that's why I feel a little bit sorry for Nick Austin, because I think he was probably on the right track, whereas Voss probably not so much. Jonas, the players don't pick the side. Yep, exactly. Should have gone straight after 2023 prelim. I think you mean what? Not wait a year. Richmond lost the grand final, then got Lynch. Lions continually improved their list. We could have, but I think where the team was at in 2024, we had a few injuries that season. But I do recall, because you remember the way that we played. You should go watch that the Gold Coast game onwards to see how we played compared to the first half of 2023. The first half of 2023, the way we were being played is the way we've been played from 2024 to now. I don't know what it was, but we went from like using the corridor, kicking laterally, using the ball with speed, running in packs. None of this real press work, which is what Voss has since changed the style of the game to and slowed things up. I don't know what it was, and I know we haven't got the quickest team, but we were able to use the ball with speed because we were moving the ball with speed, like not so much with leg speed, but using the ball with quickness. And yeah, we just, for some reason, Voss, in his stubbornness, was probably thinking, oh, well, we can fit that square peg into a round hole. I'll just bash it in because it's my way, or the highway. Yeah. But yeah, we could have potentially gone down the path of getting other players, but the way we were being played, I don't think it really would have been for much. Dean, I thought Fraser spoke well today. Authentic, no bullshit media interview coaching. I haven't listened to it, so I should go back and listen to
Yeah,
it.
I haven't listened to it either. Maybe he hasn't been properly media trained yet, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah. Did you say listen to it?
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, yeah. Authentic is probably something that will be drummed out of him quick, smart.
Mm-hmm.
We're catching up to the comments now, which is good. Lou, we can trade 2027 picks into this year if we want to get extra picks. Yep, very good point as well. We can go into deficit as well in terms of Cody Walker. If we want to match bids on him, I think we can use our first pick and then a pick, in terms of draft points index from seasons to come. If you wanted to do that, puts us in a bit of a pickle down the line. But
I don't want to say the T word, but
rhymes with planking.
Rhymes with planking.
Mm-hmm.
Do we actually have any motivation not to plank? Genuinely. If we're going to finish bottom 4, what's the motivation not to plank?
Exactly. Well, given the
and not get punished.
Yeah.
For getting Cody Walker.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because the AFL have come out and said that of all the teams to finish in the bottom 5, and they're kind of, it's funny they're already assuming we're going to be bottom 5. Hey, we could turn things around, but they're assuming that in the bottom 5, we should not have access to this new end of first round pick for any teams in the bottom 5 that are affected by their picks being slid back in the order. If a bid is made on, say, a father-son or academy player, because then their pick would slide back because then the bid would be matched. And they're saying that because we've got Cody Walker, no matter where the bid is coming on Cody Walker, even if it's outside the top 5 and doesn't impact our first pick, they're saying that we're still not privy to this new pick, because we're going to be affected as much as the other teams in the bottom 5. So say, for example, we finish second last, Richmond finished last, they place a bid on Dougie Cochran, the other highly rated father-son from Port match it, and therefore they get a freebie end of first round pick. So Richmond probably see no incentive to place a bid on Cody Walker. Who gives a shit? We get a free pick. And then every other club in the bottom 5 probably thinks likewise as well. So say a bid comes on Cody Walker at pick 6, we're still affected with our first pick going down the order from pick 2 to pick 3. And it means in terms of matching a bid on Cody Walker, the draft points index that were assigned to pick 2 have actually come down because pick 3 is rated lower. And it means, therefore, to match a bid on Cody Walker, our second pick has to be at a higher value in order to make up that deficit from pick 2 to pick 3. So we're being impacted.
That's a lot of maths and too much for my brain at this time of night to comprehend. But all I'm hearing is we need to plank.
Yes, we do. Because we finish pick 1, we can place a bid on Dougie Cochran, get that free end of first round pick, stick it up the AFL. They always stick it up us for God knows why. And then off the back of that, we can pick the best player with pick 1, and bid comes on Cody Walker.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and
so
the bid will come on Cody Walker at pick 2. If we finish last, of course, Cody Walker will get a bid on a pick 2.
So you're saying even if we finished with a pick 2, we wouldn't bid on Cody Walker. We would wait for someone else to bid on Cody Walker, and then is that what you're saying?
Yeah, regardless of where we're not going to select him with our first pick, Cody Walker. So we'd wait for someone else to bid, and then
and match it.
Similar to like Jack Ison that's happened.
Jack Ison. Yeah.
Where we weren't picking him, and people were like, "What the hell's going on?" Because pick other players and wait for
massively.
Yeah, you can get him for cheap, but yeah, it's we're going to be stuffed up. The only way that we can capitalize and stick it up the AFL is if we finish last. Because as I said, then we can get that free pick into first round by placing a bid on Dougie Cochran, who we don't want. I mean, it'd be great, but Port will match it, and then we can pick the best kid outside of Dougie Cochran and Cody Walker, whoever that kid is. And then if Richmond finish second last, they place a bid, or if it's someone else, we then match it. It means that we get access to that first pick on virtually a freebie plus an end of first round pick. So yeah, incentive there to finish last and to plank.
To be fair, I don't think we will.
No.
one, it's way too early in the season to even think about planking. But two, I think there's like more that this team needs to prove before we can even think about that.
Yeah, exactly. I'll catch up because I think people are adding to this this conversation just with what we're talking about. So I'll quickly just rush through these comments. Craig, how are you, mate? Hope you're well. The new coach still ignores Flynn. Yep, I think from what I can gather, Fraze probably doesn't want to rock the boat too much and wants to see how they play under his style that he's going to be implementing. And then he'll probably make an assessment off the back of that. And I expect to see maybe bulk changes coming out of this round into the next if the team doesn't perform. But like yourself, like you said, I think we are a chance of winning. Normally, when the interim coach comes in, it refreshes the minds of players, clean slate, they come out, perform. More often than not, I reckon if you look across the history of the AFL, a lot of teams get a win first up with a new coach. Weight off the shoulders, play with freedom. So, yeah. There we go. Bluebag, I hope you're well, mate. Great insight from this young lady.
Thank you for calling me young. I'm not, but thank you so much.
An incredible young lady. That's what I always call it.
I'm younger than you, but I'm not young.
Yes, that's right. Are you younger than me? I don't know. Lou, Dean Macbeth, who would want Shera? Yep, exactly. G'day, Jack. Hope you're well, mate. Sorry, mate. I think I saw you in the background there. We've been having a bit of a yarn for a fair while now, but I'll put the link up in the chat. So if you want to jump back on, once we've got through this, because we're still about 10 minutes behind in terms of comments. So let me just quickly rifle through.
And then I'm going to go to bed because I will be waking up with the child.
The child, yeah. Alrighty. We'll bid you farewell. The
go
better
through the
half.
Comments and then we'll...
Okay, yeah, we'll go through the comments. Soderham will take Chera. He can replace Bailey Williams in the ruck. Anyone can, in fact. Very good gag there, Soderham. Pollock, that's the man I was thinking about that went from Port to North. See, that's how far behind we are. Jared Pollock.
Oh, my God.
Widescreen, thank you. I had a look at the 2021-2025 drafting, and Austin did an okay job. Went Moyer over Morris, Hollands over Weddle, and Darcy Jones in 2022. And Darcy Jones was a bolter. I remember him. He came from nowhere. And Shifter Sheehan, who's the draft guru, the old bloke, was saying how he was a big bolter and everything else. And slid under the radar of a fair few teams. Motlop over Curtis, biggest blunders. Also, Jagger was really safe. Well, I'd say Jagger probably...
No, sorry. I was going to say no Richard Tambling, as we were saying before.
Yeah, exactly. No Richard Tambling. It could be worse. Could always be worse. But I think Jagger, again, he satisfied the holes that we have in the list. And you look at Sid Draper, who went to Adelaide. He's more that bash and crash. We don't really need a bash and crash player. We have enough of those. Cooper Lord coming through. Guys of that ilk, which they can fill that need. And apart from Walsh, as I said, in terms of midfield, we don't have much speed or outside run. So Jagger definitely helped there. Dean, you two should just do this as a Thursday night regular show. There you go. Totally different from other YouTube Carlton channels. We'll just, to you guys, chat Carlton and drop in comments. There you go. Well, maybe if you're keen to continue it.
Well, we were talking, do we do a little segment or something? We were discussing it. Not pillow talk. I was saying dinner table discussions, and we eat dinner and talk, but you didn't. You said you didn't want to eat on camera, which is fair.
Eating on camera? What is it? What's this ASMR? Like, what do they call it? What's mukbang or whatever?
ASMR. Mukbang, yeah.
Yeah, mukbang, mukbang.
Mukbang.
Yeah, mukbang. Yeah, but yes. Well, if you are keen, Dean, we are happy to branch this out and do this on a Thursday night.
Are we?
Yeah. Well, sorry. Yes. Are we? I don't know. Otherwise, I'll just put solo again and be sad.
No, this is good. I just don't want to. I'm not. Don't ask me anything about Supercoach. I know nothing about Supercoach. So anything,
I know that
all
for a
the
fact. Don't worry about that.
Jokes, everything. I know nothing.
This is Bluebaggers Edge. It's not Supercoach Edge.
I know, but I'm saying nothing Supercoach.
Well, Bonnie Blue knows nothing about Supercoach either, but she knows about Jared Pollock. So thank you, Bonnie, and all the best again for your Bang Bus tour. Jones, I understand Flynn position is a bit of a road bloke with others ahead, but Christ on form, he should be getting a chance. Yep, exactly. Rewarding form. You got to do that. Jonas, this show sucks. What happened to Supermarket Edge? Oh, yeah. So you're referring to there, of course, in our last live stream, or one of the previous ones anyway, recently, on Supercoach Edge, we did a poll looking at, actually, is the poll being put up? I think I put up a poll earlier. I can't see it on my end in terms of, no, it's stopped. I think the poll stopped. No, it hasn't. I'll just put it up there. Oh my God, I've had it in the back end the whole time. It hasn't actually been up on screen. So I had a poll on screen about, putting chocolate in the fridge or chocolate in the freezer. Or do you have it in the cupboard? Yeah, because you're a freak. We know that. We've established that. And yeah, it got discussion going. So yeah, we could delve into that again. But on the screen there, you'll see a poll. Do you agree that Voss was let go at this stage of this? Sorry, I wrote that with a half brain. Do you agree with the fact that he was let go at this stage of the season? So if you do agree, you type 1, not 1 dot, just a 1. And then if you don't agree, you just type 2. And then the bar will fill back and forth. Where are we? I've lost my, here we go. Nath, this chat has been brilliant. Thank you, Nath. Appreciate your feedback. I can't see Cripps leaving. West Coast are worse than us and don't think Freo need him for their midfield. Yeah, but could he be played up forward? I mean, I've been saying for a long while Cripps should be playing more time up forward as opposed to going to the bench. He's a key position player, size as it is anyway, but I don't know.
I don't know if you can hear our child, but...
Is that him?
Yep,
He wants to join in. He wants to join in. Jamie, so who picks the player or players in the upcoming mid-season draft? We don't have a vacancy on our list at the moment, Jamie, so we're unable to select a player in the mid-season rookie draft, unfortunately. Even though I think it was the Irishman went down and the AFL came out and said that because he's category B, it lands outside the primary list. So we don't have access to a player to fill that vacancy, as it were. Wayno, Cripper has set himself up outside footy very well, unless it's a TDK type offer. Don't think money matters that much. Fair enough. And just to that point as well, which I didn't notice, but Cripper, when he was walking to the club and he was mobbed by the reporters, did you see he was wearing the...
I noticed. He was wearing his brand.
Much like Charlie wearing the his own branding as well when he was mobbed by reporters outside of Sydney. Lou agreeing with Nath. Jack Carroll, talking about, geez, Bonnie, you're all across this. You're fooling us. He would have known that you're all across AFL. Jonas, Cripps not making enough money from all those stupid ads we see and repeat. Yeah, the clangers.
Colgate,
clangers are good.
The Colgate ad.
Yeah, exactly right. He's setting himself up very, very well. Jamie, we don't have a pick. Don't think we have a spot in the mid-season draft right now. We took Elijah and Dirks in pre-season, so unless we put someone on the league, exactly right. Jamie, thank you.
Oh, speaking of long-term injury list, has anyone ever been? Well, probably not. Could Hollands, like Elijah, go on the long-term injury list from a mental health point of view?
Yeah, that's a good point actually. But I think you can only have leave. So there's been a few players around, like Tyson Stengel at Geelong. He's going through some issues at the moment. He's away from the club, and by reports, they're going to probably pay him out at the end of the season. But he's not going to play any time this year. There's Bobby Hill at Collingwood as well. So there's players that, if the rule allowed it, I'm sure that the clubs would have done it. So I imagine not. That's a very good point. So the AFL should change that rule post haste, for the sake of the players, more so than giving us an extra spot. But yeah, it's a very good point. No one's spoken about that. Geez, you're good. I've told you that before, haven't I?
Once or twice.
Oh, there you go. I get paid to put my clothes back on. I know that for a fact as well, Jonas, because you've paid me to do just that. I'm sure people are paying me money in the stream to do just that. Just thought better not say it. Don't know what that is a reference to. So that's why we're behind in the comments. See, Petra, I don't know what you, but likewise as well, Petra. I'll say likewise to you as well. That guy next today was a knobhead. Yeah, just complete. And he still kept going as well. And he was trying to say that dropping players to the VFL is good for development. And I'm like, mate, you got the argument backwards. We're not talking about that. We're talking about selection integrity in terms of players coming out of the VFL into the senior team. I love how people just, what are they, what's it called? Straw manning. They they make up aspects of an argument that you haven't even spoken about in order to then push their own agenda. Just classic.
Don't know. I don't get in fights online very often, so unsure.
So I just have to look at that photo again to make sure that's Sydney
It's
Sweeney.
Sydney.
Here's Sydney Sweeney. How's your day going? Hopefully Moya gets to get. I can't keep up. I cannot keep up with what is going on in this chat. My Lord. So let me get this straight. We've had Sydney Sweeney. We've had Bonnie Blue. We've had, who else do we have here? We had some other lady in here as well. Some lass. I don't recall who it was, but Sydney Sweeney, welcome. And she's a fan as well. I mean, she's a fan more of Sydney because I've seen her at Sydney games. Not personally, but we've seen her on TV. But I could tell that was Sydney Sweeney from that little avatar as well. Stands out. I'll say no more.
You're on Bluebaggers Edge. You're not on Supercoach Edge. I'm just reminding you.
There's crossover. There's gags happening here. But day is going well. Thank you, Sydney. You're based in the US, so it is nighttime here. But hopefully Moya gets a game. Very good insights. Nick Austin still stuffed. They traded up for Jagger Smith. We had pick 14. We could have got Murphy Reed. He's bigger. It's pretty early to say, but I think in terms of Jagger Smith and what he can provide, I think he's going to be a superstar of the club. But something to look back on in years to come. McLean, his contractor, was asked and didn't want to come to Carlton. The Curnow deal, yes, was dropped again this week, so maybe he might change his mind. Sween Dog, how much do you think we're missing TDK, as he is a ruck who plays as midfielder? Technically, he crumbs he on the ball like Jackson, and it suits our chaotic style of game. Well, I mean, TDK is not really doing too much at St Kilda at the moment. You see what he's providing them, and it isn't really too much.
No.
He's a bit out of form.
But Dad was saying something like there's most players when they shift clubs, they usually have a really bomb first season and then they take off after that. Or if they are going to take off, they take off after that. So it'll be interesting to see what TDK does next season. But yeah, I think we definitely miss him, but I think we miss him. Pitnet's definitely stood up though.
Yeah, well, from a Ruckcraft perspective, TDK, I mean, I think he was rated, it came out earlier in the season, he's rated as the 25th most effective ruck in the game. And if you look at his stats, I spoke about it last year as well, leading into the end of the year, comparing it to Pitnet is, in terms of hitouts to advantage, he's actually in the top, he was top 3 going back a couple of weeks ago, Pitnet. So it shows the quality that he provides in his Ruckcraft, but he's an old school ruckman. Pitnet doesn't do too much around the ground, but he kind of has opened that up. He's kicked 8 goals or something across the season, or something ridiculous. But around the ground, TDK is kind of where he wipes the floor with Pitnet. He's that modern day ruckman. His endurance base is insane, and he plays as an extra midfielder, and that was kind of what he brought to the table more than what he did as a ruckman. Just virtually playing and being at the contest, and I think he probably could be more of that taller sized, midfielder like Jackson is. He can definitely play that role. I don't know why St Kilda don't try it. Play Rowe Marshall in the ruck and have TDK as a bit of a follower, playing genuinely in the midfield like Jackson. But Jackson does it the best. He's an absolute gun, isn't he? But yeah. Jamie, the AFL really don't like Carlton up the top of the ladder, do they? It doesn't suit their agenda, which makes no sense because
we bring in money.
Dad. Yeah, like a prosperous Carlton is a prosperous AFL because we bring in bulk dollary dues. So I don't know why the AFL aren't trying to they're trying to prop up their, Nepo baby clubs in the Giants and Gold Coast. And you would think, in order to grow the game up north, but you would think they'd be trying to do likewise as much as they could with the likes of a Carlton, Essendon, Richmond have had their time in the sun. Hawthorn to a lesser extent. Collingwood, they've had the time in the sun as well. But like Essendon and Carlton, you'd think the AFL would be trying their hardest to get both of these teams up the ladder in any way, shape, or form. It just doesn't make any sense. And they're all about dollars, as we know. Even more so the AFL. They've been ridiculous. Broadcast deals, fixturing, not giving a shit about fans. Lou, it's the only team that bids that gets the compo pick. No. It's actually the bottom 5, because I thought it was that at the start as well. But reading into it, it's actually the bottom 5 as a collective, because all their picks get slid down. Because whoever has pick 1 slides down to pick 2. Whoever's pick 2, they obviously can't hold it. They slide down and it cascades down. But only the bottom 5 are privy to that compo pick. Nath, Tamer with the maths methods equations at midnight circa 2005. Bringing back some memories there for you, Nath. I did maths. I did further maths, and went from having an awesome teacher in my previous. This is opening up a can of worms here for me, but had an awesome teacher, maths teacher, in the year prior, in year 10 or year 9, and I was getting A's across the board. And I love my stats now. I love my numbers. But went from that to having a teacher who did not give a shit. And like, if I had any questions, he'd be like, oh, yeah, you just do this, this, and this, and didn't explain things. And I was like, stuff this. I'm not going from further maths to maths methods. So ended up dropping it for VCE. What could have been? Who knows? I could have been even more of a stats nerd. Lou Felina, and I've lost the wife. I think she's going to attend to our child, which is fair enough. A fellow bagger at that. If we finish last, then bid on Cochrane. We're slowly catching up, ladies and gents. Apologies. Widescreen, the motivation not to tank destroys culture. Yep. Think a cruiser. Yeah, but you're still getting the benefit of moving up the draft if Walker is bid on and then you match. I sat backstage for like 20 minutes. Apologies, Jack. Sorry, mate. We are going on a big run, mate. Much like we've had in the past. I remember when we've had some yarns for about an hour and a half, which is kind of what we're doing at the moment. Lou Felino, Fraser will win 14-0. Geez, imagine that. What a comeback that would be. There you go, Pommy, who's one of our draft experts here. Good to see you, Pom. It's any pick within 5 knocked back. So bid 1 would be pick 1, and whoever has 2, 3 remains the same, but any team traded or any teams in the first 5 with bid matches. There you go. Thank you, Pom. Jamie, it's really confusing at the moment, isn't it? They know clubs plan for drafts. Yeah, and that's the thing the AFL stuffed up, and they've put the gun to the head of every single team. And the only way that teams have known about this proposed change in the draft is through the media, because the AFL have leaked it to the media, and it's just piss poor by them to do that, because it hasn't allowed teams officially to go ahead planning for these proposed changes. So the AFL should have, again, any normal professional competition across the world, NFL, EPL, even IPL. I mean, the English, the Indian Premier League, the cricket, big dollars over there, stuff like that. Like, they'd be thinking things out properly, and they would be implementing changes over the course of seasons, especially when you have a new team coming in Tassie, who's going to have a monopoly over the draft in the early rounds. It's just a piss poor implementation by the AFL. It's really, really stupid. Nath, we aren't good enough.
I think they've just overcomplicated it too. I think I said to you the other day, I said, why did it have to change? Why can't it just be like, if you've got a father-son, then that's your good luck? Like, I don't understand why there has to be compensation, this, that. Like, just it's lost its shine, which is, I just don't get it why I had to change.
Yeah, they're trying to equalize the competition. I think that's kind of what they're trying to peddle.
But like, it's bad luck if you don't have a father-son.
Exactly. It's like St Kilda. It's like, well, get better sperm. Like, what are you doing? Like, honestly, that's what it comes down to. Get better genes. Like, get better DNA. I mean, not even, you think back to Gary Ablett Sr., like, Nathan Ablett wasn't the best footballer. And then he had Gary Ablett Jr., who was an absolute, superstar of the competition historically across the competition. So it's luck of the draw, and it is what it is. But with the, and Pom, if he's still here, he might have disappeared into the ether, but like to get his thoughts as well with regards to the academy, because teams are actually pouring money, like their own money, into developing players in their academy. So therefore, they should get access to these players out of their own right. And the fact that teams are putting bids on academy players, and they're being made to pay a premium. I understand they probably should be made to pay a premium to an extent, but what the AFL have implemented is just ridiculous, because now they're teams that are developing academy players and pouring finances into developing these players now have to also pay a premium in draft capital. It just is ridiculous. And it, if you get a discount, depends upon where you finish in that season. yeah, it's crazy. Wayno, hope Fraser doesn't get ahead of himself and thinks it's about winning for him. Yeah, true. Hopefully he develops the players and he has that mindset. Jack, g'day mate, long time. Talking about Petra. Pommy says you've got a penchant for Tim Tams, similar to myself. We both love a bit of a Tim Tam, don't we? So
No, you love a Tim Tam. I love a
yeah,
Tim Tam, but you really love a Tim Tam.
I do
Double
enjoy it.
coat chocolate Tim Tam.
Yeah. Petra, they're just talking about playing guitar, having a bit of a side yarn, which is fine. Skiv Films, how are you, mate? So I haven't seen you for a little while. Hope you're well. ASMR, you're a big fan of it. There you go. So we might work that in. We might be crunching things into the microphone. Jack, I recorded a track not long ago. You're talking about songs. Very nice. Jamie, I'd be here every Thursday with you guys. I like it. Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate your company, mate. Petra, only had 2. Partner had 1. Elder son barge and snatched. Okay, interesting. All right. Here we go. So people are putting their. Oh, it's not coming up on. I don't know why. I can't see it. I don't know if it's not coming up on my end. It actually is coming up. I'll have to have a look at another browser. But it does look as though the bars are filling for that poll. I don't know if it does for you.
No, I can't see anything.
Could have sworn. Oh, here we go. No, it's not filling. It's not working for some reason. I don't know why.
Tech fail.
Yeah, tech fail. I have no idea. But anyway, we can manually count them. So Lou and Wayno, you said yes, you agree. Bluebagger is again saying young lady making great comments. Indeed, she does. Smart cookie, isn't she? The brains of the operation here. Wayne reckons it's 3 days of coaching. I assume he's probably given everyone the one shot. Widescreen, you've said 2. Okay, so there you go. So it's 2-1 at the moment. I didn't see that. I thought you were just calling me a loser, as per usual. Jamie with a 1.
Time.
Mr. Allen with a 1, and Pommy with 1. Where are we? Where are we? Here we go. Pommy. So they have till the end of next week to choose if Hoff goes. Oh, yes. So Hoff is obviously recovering from his ACL. So he's referring to going on the long-term injury list to open up a spot. Davis, Chris Davies pretty much alluded to he's ahead of schedule, but Graham Wright said they're looking at options with CD, Chris Davies, of course, being the list manager as that stand-in for Nick Austin. So there you go. Interesting. I wonder to that point there if Nick Austin had his own ideas being like, we should maybe not open up a spot. Whereas Chris Davies is saying, oh, no, maybe we should put him on the long-term injury list to open up a spot. And I wonder if there's been a disagreement. And off the back of that, they've used that as an opportunity to say, bye-bye, Nick Austin. That'd be interesting.
I doubt that would be it. Has to
Just
be
imagine.
something more.
He's got the power. Jamie, is Harry rolling with the 10 times bigger T-shirts now? Looks like he's wearing truck tops. I don't know.
Harry's cool now because he's got an influencer girlfriend. So he's doing all these brand deals and stuff on
personal stylist
on Instagram. So that's probably got something to do with he's too cool for school.
Yeah. I would go on a long-term interest for Jessica Alba. Is she in the chat? Have I missed it? Is she gracious with her presence? We're getting everyone in at the moment. This is above my head here. I don't know what you're talking about. Real tape machines, as in like VHS and VCRs and everything else. This is old school. Pom, long-term injury by law, effectively, anyone can be on the list. There's no actual law around the injury. They still have to pay the salary and must be within the cap. Well, Pom, if you're still around, mate, I don't know if you've actually answered this question later on. You may have. Apologies if you have, because we're catching up. But do you know, to the question that you posed?
That's probably what this is responding to, I imagine. I imagine this answer is in response to can Elijah go on the long-term injury list? He's saying that anyone can go on it. There's no law around the actual injury.
Yeah, but it's just a wonder though that like Stengel hasn't been put on it. Bobby Hill.
But maybe they're not mental health cases.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Elijah's like a mental health diagnosed situation, we assume,
yeah.
because they said he had a mental health episode, but they might not be. They might just have personal stuff going on, not mental health.
Yes, other stuff indeed.
Or theirs might be a bit more uncertain where they might be able to come back. I don't know. Oh, there you go. It worked.
Yeah, that's it.
Paul.
It works. 83% have said yes. They agree that Voss was let go at the right time, and 17% say no. Do it at the buy. I should have added another one. Keep Michael Voss, just for gags. Going back to the comments, where was it? Talking about software. I don't know what we're talking about here. Lou, maybe Fogg can do his shoulders so he goes on along to me. Come on, we won't be wishing injuries on
Don't
players.
wish ill, no.
Pom, Bluebag. What did you say, Bluebag? Oh, I've gone along to injury list for Jess Alba. Yep. Going to bed now. You've left this with, mate. You've dropped $7.99 from your pocket. Don't go to bed yet. Come back. Come back. You've dropped it, but we'll happily pick it. Thank you, Dean. Again, you're a legend, mate. Appreciate your support and for joining us throughout this this 2-hour stream we've been going for.
Marathon stream that I was only meant to be on for 5 minutes.
I know, and it's been that enjoyable, hasn't it? It's you've stuck around. Jesus, we can talk shit. Or at least I know I can talk shit, but you've helped me talk even more shit.
An enabler.
Exactly right. But thank you, Dean. You're a legend, mate. I appreciate your generosity yet again. Epic work indeed. Okay, should I put a skip over because they're having a conversation themselves. Sydney Sweeney, because they have a ruck split. You're talking about TDK again. Indeed, Sydney. Geez, you're across it. Jamie, personally, I don't think we are missing TDK too much. The stuff he did around the ground, just chipping in, Sydney. Wayno, be nice to have a ruckman that can get his stops out of the grass.
Out of the grass. Yeah.
Very flat-footed, Pito at times. The first 10 rounds of 2025 TDK looked like prime Brody Grundy. He did indeed. They're talking about Tascam 4-track cassettes. Jeez, you guys got a time machine? If not, get one. Make one. Who's this? Who is graced us with their presence yet again? Lara Smith also, Mrs. TDK. Do I dare Google who Lara Smith is?
I don't know who Lara Smith is.
As in, do I do it because will it be, if it comes up asking about safe search?
OnlyFans or something? I don't know who this person is. It just could be a normal person. That's not very nice.
No, because there's a running trend here. There's a lot of blondes that pop up. I don't know if that's the same one. But anyway, yeah, okay. We all miss TDK. We all miss him collectively. Thank you for joining us, Lara. Even though you're not Lara. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, don't worry. Continue. We need to hurry this up because it's getting very late now. Just go. Let's go.
No, go.
Nothing. I was going to say, let's go.
No, you weren't. You're going to say something else.
I was going to say, let's go. Come on.
No, you weren't.
We need
anyway.
Come on.
I just stopped seeing unable dogs keep howling at the moon. Very good. Pommy, yes, as well. What's the burners with chicks as profile pics? It's Thursday night. Go find a real one, lads. Yeah, how good's the singing in the shower? Very, very good. Yeah, duet between yourself and Wayno, yourself and Pommy. Lou, sorry for Rich, finishes last and they bid on Cochrane. Does Carlton get a compo pick because their pick slides down one? Yes, every pick slides down one after that. How clueless does Wiedering look with Silvani being third key defender for him?
I don't get that.
I don't get it because Silvani's no longer at the club.
Are you a bot?
Are you back in time? Interesting. Is someone just trying to is it Google or is it like Elon Musk trying to test out one of his bots that he's built?
Are you AI?
Yeah. Jamie, again, well said, Mrs. Damo. And you do have a name. What is your name?
Ash.
That's what it is. Yeah, forgot.
Very hard to remember.
Yeah. Pommy actually loves the new rules. Should have been 2020 when the 40% of under 16 state sides were father-son NGA. Yeah, geez. I think it was 2020 when they brought in, what's his name? The hyphen, Jamara. I don't know if that was the season. Yeah, because he went pick one and he was obviously tied to the Western Bulldogs. But yeah,
I'm looking at the comments a little bit ahead from you.
Mm.
There's some serious bot behavior happening.
Well, okay. Well, let's quickly catch up. And Petri, yes, talking about better sperm. I don't know if you've only just tuned back in, and we're talking about better sperm at that point. We're talking about of course father sons. In the 70s, Saints wasted all their DNA in the nightclubs. Lou, that's what I thought, Pommy. So we do. I just got home from work at midnight, and there is a Blues chat on YouTube. What's going on, guys? This is it. We're having a bit of a yarn. Just chatting about obviously the happenings over the past few days with Voss leaving Austin, so on and so forth. Thanks for joining us. So the same back in the days. Pommy, so top 5 protected, but if you trade or use them naturally to matches, no. So Port Carlton won't have them. If a bid is in the first 5 picks, Carlton would if the bid is pick. Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, if the bid on Walker is pick 6, it's not going to affect these new rules. But from what the AFL is saying, they're saying that we don't have access to an end of first round pick, even if that was the case with Walker being bid on at pick 6. AFL equalisation, free agents, Draper and Allen go to the back-to-back premiers for nothing on less money. The opposite of what the AFL wants. Yeah, right. Yeah, the AFL have it all backwards. Yeah, free agency does not work, I don't think.
No.
By and large. Jack, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the same thing. Free agency is a whole other discussion that we don't have time for tonight, but it is not created equally.
So, sorry, they're talking about musical gear. Thank you, Jack, for the context there. Who wears the panties, mate? I do at the moment. Do you want me to stand up? You'll see him. What an intimate question, my lord! And you got to pay money for that, like I said earlier. See that behind me there? That's not a cat pole. That is not a cat pole. I can wrap myself around it. So
it's a tadpole.
It's a tadpole. Aggressor left a few months ago. Austin followed him. Lol. Hoff makes no sense. Earliest he can play is around 20, and you'd guess, yeah, that's VFL. So Max, he'll be available is for 2 AFL games. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense, does it? From that perspective, like just give him the rest of the season just to recover, and yeah, leave it at that. Bring in some new talent, see how they go. Which at the moment, we're second last at the moment, aren't we? From memory, so we will get picked in the mid-season draft. So there's incentive for us to put Hoff on the long-term injury list. Yeah. Oh, geez, they're talking about Jazz now. Stengel is trying to make his comeback, supposedly. Elijah by law, if he's unavailable, here we go. Thank you, Pom. Sorry, finally caught up. We're 8 minutes behind now, which is better than the half an hour that we were behind the comments. Elijah by law, if he's available, can be on the list. The question mark is AFLPA mental health plan. Is the club must be giving the player 100% chance to play when ready. Thus, the grey area is that. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I agree, Pom. Just get him right for next year with regards to Hoff. That's talking about Jazz again. Petra, you'll go crazy if you read all the comments. So I'm just trying to skip through them. Bella, we've got a newbie.
And he's another bot.
Day's been great. Thanks, Bella. Even though it's night time now, but thanks for joining us. Please let us know your thoughts about Michael Voss, whether or not he should have been given the ask, or is he a successful coach? Let us know. Jack, who has the time to make all these fake account? It's mental. It is indeed. Motts has a better chance of playing 2 games this year than Hoff. Motts looked great at training this week. Of course, Motlop.
And Motts is going to be on doing the match day emceeing, I believe, co-hosting this week.
Yeah.
For
Who's
the
that, sorry?
game. What?
emceeing?
Yeah.
Oh, for Indigenous round, I imagine.
Yep.
Very good.
Yep. He'll be at the ground.
Roll out Cody Walker. He can fit the bill there.
Cody Walker is protected. He needs to be kept away from anything until
A
it's
delay
his
is
time.
freaking me out. There we go. Vanessa, a newbie. These streams make my day. Well, it made someone else's day earlier as well. I think it might have been Sydney Sweeney. Jack, don't know the reason the chat is in another postcode, mate. I've caught up now. I've caught up. Did you get a haircut? Domain. I did actually. How does AI know? I did the other day. Jamie Hayhem, yes, I've caught up. Don't you dare read this comment in 50 minutes, mate. I'm reading it 2 minutes later after you posted it. I miss Michael Voss. There you go. What made him so good, Bella? What made him such a good coach? Talk about the way he's such a good coach on game day. Let us know how good he is in terms of player-coach relationships and selection integrity in terms of rewarding players that have good form in the VFL.
Oh my God, she's responded. No.
No, someone it's not a bot, surely.
No.
You want to Tim Tan? Bella, he's a 3 times premiership player. Yes. That's anyone can check that out via ChatGPT, which you probably are. Jamie, I feel these former Carlton coaches could start up a supporter group for sale. For sacked Carlton coaches. They could. I'll finish at 4:38, mate. I've read out your message 2 minutes ago. Come on, Petra. You're delayed with a joke, mate. Bella, the way he smiles in his press conference, his yellow teeth. Ash, do you have a swear type jar full of coins? See, Shorty's Eskimo brother. This is, of course, someone that tunes into our Supercoach Edge content. Now, is this you, Jonas, with a burner? Is this you all along with all of these burner accounts? If this is you, sorry, not Jamie, but if this is you, Jonas, of course, mass debate her. That is the Jonas I'm talking about. My God, mate, what are you doing? You must have a million browsers open on multiple computers and phones, burner phones at that. Come on, I know you miss his soothing voice. He puts you to sleep the way he talks, saying we need cohesion.
All right, I think it's time to call it.
Yeah, it's not a bot. It's someone with a burner. Jonas says, I'm certainly not. You are that good, Jonas. And I love how you've just piped up. You've been missing for how long? And now you've popped up. Mate, I'm the ultimate detective. Do you know how many Scream films I've seen and how many killers I've picked? I'm adding up the pieces here and it points to you. Sydney Sweeney is definitely up your alley as well. Yeah, I've got you, Jonas. Anyway, we are coming to an end here. We've been going for over 2.25 hours, and it's now 20:01 in the morning. So we might wrap things up in a quick moment. Petra, I liked Voss. I could see what he wanted to do. He wanted to turn boys into men. Our club is not the place to do that. Voss should apologise. Shane Barker says goodbye. He was another guy that I thought was Jonas's burner account, but it turns out it's someone else who's a fan of our Supercoach content on Big Footy that you're referencing there.
Oh my God. Okay, let's wrap it up.
That I know, Bonnie, because I've heard the amount of tours that you've been on, tours of duty. Now, let's wrap up this poll. It's done and dusted. No worries at all, Alan. Appreciate you joining us, mate. Along with everyone else. Geez, we've got the likes of Bella, Sydney Sweeney, Lara Smith,
Bonnie Blue,
everyone. tuning in. But no, especially the fact that the likes of Petra, Pommy, Chef Jack, of course, Wayno, Jamie. Who else is there? There's been so many people across the journey. Jonas, of course, as well. Petra, might have already said your name, but it is 18 minutes to 1, and my brain is shutting down. So thank you, as always, for tuning in, Petra. Oh, I thought that was a duplicate. I thought you were having me on then. I thought you were AI behavioring. What? I can't even talk. I thought you were operating like an AI bot then for a second, just duplicating some of your messages. But thank you for joining us. Really do appreciate it. Jamie says thanks to both of us. See you on the Supercoach channel as well. Well, thank you, Jamie. Supporting us across both channels as well. You're an absolute legend. But for those of you tuning in, if you have enjoyed our discussions, hopefully we've been entertaining in some respect. But if you have tuned in and if you've enjoyed it, all we ask is you like the video, give us a subscribe. And if you are watching us on your phone, because you can watch us, of course, after this live stream finishes, after the fact, you can actually hype the video as well. If you are watching us on your mobile device, click the hype button and it tells YouTube to get a big dog up it and to promote our content to other fellow baggers out there. So if you can do that, it'd be absolutely fantastic. But at a minimum, you don't have to give us money. Other people have done that, and I'm not taking off my clothes or putting them back on. But all we ask is for you to like the video and give us a subscribe. So thank you for tuning in. Appreciate all your company. And with that, ladies and gents, we will catch you in the next one, which will be a preview to this weekend's game. Until then, we'll catch you in the next one. All the very best. And parting words.
Baggers are going to win this week. I've said it. Bye-bye.
Oh, sorry. Before we leave, Bonnie Blue, closing comments. Let me know if you need a collab. She apparently is in love with me. I don't know. I've never met you in my life, Bonnie.
Okay.
Not everyone, says Jonesy. What a happy couple. There you go. Thank you, Jonas. You're a legend, mate. Thanks for doing this at my usual viewing hour. No worries at all. The dirty dog. No, it's not me. Miss the old. I don't even know what that means.
Just cut it.
Anyway, that's it, ladies and gents. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next one. Go Baggers.
Go Baggers.